Number one, sweep her off her feet technique. So here is a huge secret to attracting beautiful girls. I'm Tess, a runway model turned men's dating coach, and the boss of a bunch of other models that we've trained to go on dates with our clients and give them feedback about how to improve with women on our boot camps that we've been running over the past 20 years. And there are certainly things that us girls really want you to do, but we never actually tell you about it. And then when you don't do it, we get all upset or reject you, and you just never know why. And when I actually think about it, it's like we expect you to be mind readers. And I know us girls can be a little bit annoying, maybe even a little bit difficult. So tonight I'm going to give you the 11 things women secretly want older men to do, but never say. So we might even lie about some of these points if you ask us directly, but by doing even 2 or 3 of these 11 simple things correctly, you can instantly become the guy that beautiful younger women really want to be with. So pay attention and keep watching, because in the first half hour, we're going to give away the number one so simple secret that will separate you from every other guy in the eyes of us models and, the most beautiful women. Okay, let's face it. The first date is like a job interview, and if you don't do well in that interview, you're sure as hell not going to get any further. And on the other hand, if you do really well in that interview, you might get the job instantly and, potentially even an unplanned bonus, if you know what I mean. So when we search on YouTube for date planning, virtually no one is talking about it. The number one video only had 25,000 views on it. And yeah, virtually no one is talking about it. And it's absolutely crazy, because this is the ultimate way for just an average older guy to sweep a beautiful younger woman off her feet. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be telling you about how you can go on a date with me, and I can give you instant feedback on everything you're doing right, everything you're doing wrong, and exactly what you need to do to improve with women straight away, working one-on-one with me. But for now, I'll introduce my co-presenter, James, and we'll get stuck into these 11 points. So again, the number one point, sweep her off her feet technique. And this relates to date planning. Hey, James.
Hey Tess, yeah, this is crazy. I searched YouTube for date planning. One guy had 25,000 videos. One of the guys, who's usually one of the better ones, he said it's nonsense. Don't do it if you're a confident masculine guy. And it was a joke. Like, probably the simplest way for an average older guy to appear super attractive to women is to actually plan out a date like it's a job interview. So many times you get a date with a girl, you take her out to dinner, or you take it to the movies, or you go for a walk somewhere, and there's no structure to it. You've got no idea. You've got no contingencies in place. Could you imagine putting up a building or a house and having no plans, no idea what to do if stuff goes wrong? Or if you're trying to build some sort of sales or marketing funnel, for anyone who understands that, and you just throw stuff out there and just hope for the best. It's crazy. It's crazy. So just like you want to nail a job interview, you want to nail a date, and that requires a plan and a process. So what I recommend you do is figure out where you live, and then try to figure out 2 to 3 short locations, 2 to 3 locations, maybe a short walk from one to the other. You want to try to build in some sort of romance. If you can build in social proof, other people know me, other people like me, potentially attractive girls talk to me. And you can do something that maybe showcases your hobbies and interests and personality. The whole idea is to give a girl that swept off her feet feeling. Tess, I might ask you in a second to talk about dates that have really worked for you, and maybe if you can come up with any examples of guys you really liked them, but the date was just terrible. It was just sitting at dinner opposite him for a while, and then you didn't really sort of follow through because you were quite disappointed. The ultimate example is some sort of corporate successful guy puts on a beautiful coat, takes her to an expensive restaurant, buys her flowers, drops, whatever, I don't know, depending on the city you're in, 2, 3, 4, 500, maybe $1,000 for some guys in a night on this girl on the first date, and he's stuck opposite her for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And you've got all these courses to get through. You're stuck facing her face to face like it's a job interview across a table. It's the most stressful situation ever. I'm supposed to be a professional at this. My chances of getting some girl I've met for half an hour, taking her out to dinner for 2 hours, and then turning that into a sexual relationship, or even getting another date, that's going to be some work. That's because, yeah, it's one of the dumbest things you can ever do. So yeah, I will just explain. I used to live in Bondi Beach, Australia, and I used to just meet girls at a bookstore cafe, maybe sit there for half an hour, 20 minutes, maybe grab a cup of tea, walk along, and then just walk along the beautiful boardwalk at Bondi Beach. And then there was a piece of grass at North Bondi. You could do this in Santa Monica. You could do this in Venice. You could do this in South Beach, Miami. So many places in the world you can do this. You can do this sort of thing in most cities beside a river. And then I take along this beautiful place where you can watch sunset. Then I wandered back, and there was a nice little viewpoint overlooking the entire beach. I could take her up, but there wasn't many people there. Then I had a series of places. There was a cafe, there was a restaurant if I really needed to, which is a bad idea. And then there was a bar on the corner before I walk up to my place. So it was like a foolproof plan. If it started raining, I had backup contingencies for that. If the weather was super cold, I had backup contingencies for that. So and the other thing is, my bed where I could actually finish the job was very close to the date. So I didn't have any long car drives or anything stressful like that. So yeah, that's roughly what it looks like. I've had killer date plans in New York, in Thailand, in India, in Melbourne, Australia, a smaller one in London, a couple in different parts of Eastern Europe. And that's been one of the biggest secrets behind my success. The fact that I've had girls possibly way out of my league, and I've given them a step-by-step system to go through. And yeah, it makes sex easy. It makes a chance of a girl putting you in the friend zone or flaking on you on the next date so remote compared to you just taking her out to dinner or doing whatever you do now. There's a lot more to date plans than that, and that's one of the first things we help you with if we onboard you as a client. Tess, do you want to talk about how the first date is like a job interview, and how, if you can think of guys who nailed that and got you versus guys who were maybe much more desirable, but it was just a bit shit or a bit awkward, and they didn't get another chance with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first date is really make or break. This is a stage where she's given you a chance, and this is like, hey, we need to get to know each other, see if there's actually potential here for this to lead to anything else, right? So you need to make the most of that opportunity, right? And yeah, a killer date where she's like, wow, that was so much fun. It was sexy. I'm feeling way more attracted to this guy now. That's going to set you off on the right foot for exactly, giving you control and power for what's to come. If it was a pretty like boring date, or it just dragged on too long, and some of the things James talked about, like sitting in a restaurant, across a table from each other, which can be quite confronting, when you're face to face with someone who you don't know much about, and you can't take breaks to look away, and so it can get awkward sometimes. Like it's quite a lot, and also there's no opportunity for touch as well, so it can get really stale. Sitting at a restaurant for like a few hours eating food and whatever, it's like, oh my god, get me out of here. So yeah, that in comparison to some of the things James talked about, keeping the first date potentially a bit shorter, and having a few different points of interest where you're keeping things dynamic. There's lots of stimulus to work with because you're changing settings a few times. Opportunity for touch as well, because if you go for a walk, you might be able to, there might be incidental touch with your arms brushing, that sort of thing. But also if you sit down, you can, there's a lot of access to touching on the arm or small of the back, that sort of thing. And it's a lot more intimate as well when you do something just the two of you, even if you're in a public place, rather than in a restaurant where there might be loud music and other people, and you're getting interrupted by waitress, etc. So So absolutely, yeah. First date is a make or break, and so if you have a killer date plan, and this, this is quite there's a lot we haven't even spoken about here yet. Um, it can, yeah, it can really just, yeah, sweep her off her feet, and you've really set yourself up from that moment onwards. So, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's so important because it's your bridge from, oh, the girl, kind of likes you. She's enjoying the conversation to actually going in for that all important kiss and hopefully have a sexual experience, because you're not marrying a woman and having kids with her till you've had sex with her. That's awesome. Some other things with the dinner is, if you take an attractive girl out to dinner and you fill her full of like 3 or 4 courses, she's probably not going to have sex with you. Partially her bikini body is not looking that flash anymore because she's got this big stomach. She might be conscious if she ate garlic or drunk red wine or white wine, or you had beer, or you had beer, she had white wine, and you had chili, she had garlic. The first kiss is like an abomination. It's disgusting. But yeah, it's completely and utterly destroying things. And I honestly think movies put these crazy ideas into us to repress us and divide and conquer the sexes, plus maybe to sell more alcohol. Just like cigarettes promote movies, I'm sure alcohol companies do as well. Every time you go into someone's house, they're shoving alcohol down your throat. So yeah, I think we've had some good questions come through. Just a quick hi to our regulars. We'll do that in 1 second. I saw Vichor asked a great question about date planning. Next one, I want to give you guys insane value straight up is hug her. Hug her. You guys are worried about all these ninja pickup artist escalation techniques, whereas the oldest escalation technique in the book is still the best of all. Hug her, just a big, warm, non-sexual kiss. I was at an ashram in India. It was Osho's ashram, for anyone who's heard of that crazy genius guy. There's a documentary about him that's not too flattering. And there were 2 girls there. One was like fat. The other was like about as skinny as my little finger, and they'd just done some woman's empowerment session, and one of the things they learned to do was learn how to hug. So they said, hey, do you want us to teach you how to hug? I went, okay, I'm not doing anything else, why not? They were pretty fun. So they both taught me to hug. Now, it wasn't exactly a sexual thing with a beanpole and a farm animal, probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah, they taught me one of the greatest lessons of my life. And when I slotted my ashram hug into my date plan, it sent my dating life bananas. Girls would have previously taken me 2 or 3 dates to maybe have sex with them. I was getting on the first date like so often, so consistently. That's one of the great miracles of my entire dating life. And the other thing it did is, not only did it make sex more likely, the sex was just another level. It was like it was the 3rd or 4th time I was with a girl I really liked, because through some spiritual woo-woo thing, our energies were getting synced up. And that's something we now pay our female coaches to practice with our clients on our events, on our boot camps, simply because if you can actually give a hug, not a sexual hug, not like a grandma hug where you're scared there's any sort of touch, it's just absolutely crazy. Tess, do you want to talk? I mean, you're a bit of a hippie at heart like me. Do you want to talk about what a nice, long, non-sexual, beautiful, sort of spiritually connecting hug is like for a woman?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I hope most of you have experienced what it feels like. When you hug someone, it's like your whole body can relax and it's just feels so comfortable in your arm, and warm and really intimate. You're like, wow, this person's a good hugger. That is, when you can give that experience to a woman, like before you've even kissed her, on a first date sort of thing, it shows a lot of confidence to embrace a woman and have her that close to you and relax your whole body, and have her relax as well. That is so, so intimate. It's and after you're able to do that, she's getting excited and she's potentially thinking about, oh, okay, what's happening next? It's a really strong way of building intimacy and attraction. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have also, on the other spectrum, experienced like a really awkward hug, where people are like, this weird hug where they're like hardly touching you, they're really stiff, and it's just like, weird. So that's what we want to be avoiding. Yeah, obviously, the more confident and comfortable you are with touch in general, but also something like a really intimate embrace, it also, that sort of denotes how comfortable and confident you're going to be in the bedroom as well. So a long, yeah, an intimate, confident hug is, yeah, it's so strong what it can do. Especially before you've tried to just jump in and go in for the kiss, that sort of thing. Like if you have an intimate long hug, you'll probably pull away and she'll probably be expecting or like wanting to kiss you at that stage, which is a great place to be, because you never want to kiss a woman until you're sure that she really wants to be kissed. So yeah, the long intimate hug is amazing.
Yeah, it's so important. So I can you imagine and can you imagine how different your dating life would be if you had this killer date plan that you designed properly with Tess's help, that that you had a bit like was what I did with my date plan. Is as soon as I got to the grass at North Bondi, it wasn't quite a hug, but I'd go sit behind her and rub her shoulder for just a few minutes. I wouldn't give her a massage, but I'd show her I've got some skills. Then I'd immediately sit behind her and hold her. And sometimes I'd lie on the grass and I'd pull her into me. So the date plan was just designed step by step, just like you would put up a building. And no one on YouTube's talking about this stuff. It just blew my mind. I thought some people would be. Yeah, just imagine how much more confident you'd be on a date when you did that. It's just crazy. The next one, number 3, is to pass her tests. This is the sort of the grand the grand wizardry of women. A girl looks at you, she flicks her hair, she sticks her tits out, she walks past you, she rubs her boobs past you. You eventually go talk to her. You go, hey, how you doing? I'm James. You go talk to her, and she holds you out. She pretends you're not there. I mean, women to an unsophisticated guy, women are just nuts. Or one of the things that happens to me, and happens a lot when you start dating the most beautiful women. I was coaching a guy who's now a billionaire, and he did a lot of public speaking for a while, and he'd do all these conferences, and he'd get women coming up to him, throwing themselves at him. He's a reasonably good-looking guy, and he's a very confident speaker, and he's a very successful businessman. And he'd just get these dates with these amazing girls. And he said the majority of them would cancel on him a day before or even hours before. And he's like, don't you know I run this big company and I give all this money to charity, and I've got all these staff who are depending on me, and you just completely fuck me around? The guy was just ranting about women. He's almost getting a bit red pill on me. But you can understand why. Then I explained to him, if ever I get a chance on a date with a legit model who works with an agency, I'm just like, yeah, there's a 70% chance she's going to stand me up, and it'll probably be at the last minute. That's just what women do, because they're trying to sort through. Just like if you see something that's expensive, you think it's good. If you see there's a big line out the front of a bar or a nightclub or a restaurant, or something's selling out all the time, or a concert's constantly sold out, you think it's going to be good. Women think a guy who knows, okay, well, I'm a really hot girl, I'm going to stand him up and say, I got to wash my hair tonight 3 hours before. 5% of the male population is going to have dated lots of girls like me before, and they're going to understand I'm just fucking him around, just seeing if he can get over this hurdle, knows what's actually going on. And then he'll text me 4 or 5 days later going, hey, how's your weekend? And then I reply, then he sets up a second date, and I show up super confident. Most guys don't know this. And most of the people I see on YouTube say, oh, if she disrespects your time, I mean, what good's her getting? Hot girls do this shit all the time. They're constantly playing games with us. And it's because, they can't punch us. So if we wanted something for a woman, or we wanted to control women, men historically have used violence, as repulsive as that sounds to you. Women historically and today, they use subtle manipulation. They use subtle games. They're always setting little traps for you. And as I constantly say, if you don't like it, learn to love the taste of dick, because 97-year-old Vincent's being tested by his 95-year-old wife, who he's been married to for 67 years. Tess, talk about some of the games women play, even though they say they don't. I'm not a game player, but they all do. Talk about some of the games women play with men and how, certainly at the start, it's just like a funnel to figure out the guys who actually get this shit versus the guys who've got no clue.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of women might think that they don't test, but it's because a lot of us do it subconsciously. Like we all do it. We all do it. And sometimes I realize, oh, that was a test in hindsight, because I do a lot of tests subconsciously as well. But I think that a lot of people do it. Men do it as well. But it is really about figuring out what sort of character is this person, you know, like what how reactive is he, what kind of values does he have, what kind of a partner is he going to be, how reliable is he, all of these things, they're things that we're trying to figure out in the early part of dating, and we do that through, you know, tests. She might be she might sort of try to test how insecure you are by maybe like flirting with other guys around you, or dressing kind of provocatively and trying to get a lot of attention to see how you handle that. Because a big one for really attractive women is, yeah, guys who are really controlling and obsessive and insecure. And it's horrible. It's really, really horrible. It's a lot of my friends and myself as well, we've had experiences with that kind of guy in our lives. And so that's something that beautiful women test for a lot. Other tests, yeah, I think just loyalty as well, and also where we want to know where we stand for you. So we might ask you to do things which are a little bit outrageous, like pick us up from the other side of the city at some ridiculous hour of the night, or really go out of your way to do something that's quite like insignificant for us. That's also just trying to see how much power we have in the relationship, where we stand, you know, how you prioritize spending time with us or going out of your way to help us to do little things. We want to know where we stand and how much power we have in the relationship. What are some other ones for really early in the relationship? I think, just general character testing, you know, like how you deal with problem solving if things come up out of the blue. Like, do you get stressed? Do you know can you handle it? Can you or even handle our emotional fluctuations? So women might sort of exaggerate their emotional fluctuations or say something that sounds crazy just to see if you're going to know how to handle that or diffuse it. So we're just running you through the paces because beautiful women, high value women, we want to cut to the chase. We don't want to waste our time with guys who generally in the early part of dating try to put their best foot forward, and we want to cut through the crap and see like what's real and what's just a facade here. So we do put you through a few tests.
For you guys, because we really now target guys 40 and upwards, into their 60s. I love the clients we're getting now. One of the things I've had a lot as I'm getting well into my 50s is, you're just too old. You're such an interesting guy, but you're just too old for me. You're not my type. I'd love to hang out with you, but start having sex with you. I mean, so many guys take this literally, and I mean, it's in my case, it's virtually never been true. And again, this gets back to reading signals. You can tell the girl's into you, and you can tell this is just a load of nonsense, and she's just doing it to see how you handle it. Okie dokie. I think Tess said at the start that you can literally get a date with this beautiful girl tomorrow. So where are we? Whoops, he's having a little bit of a brain freeze here. And yeah, that's what it looks like. You'll get to go hop onto Zoom. This is what you'll see Tess tomorrow doing what she does all week. And yeah, ex-catwalk model. And yeah, what's going to happen is you'll practice approaching her, you'll practice dating her. Tess will try to figure out what you want, a bit about your history with women, and try to figure out what your sticking points are. And she'll get a very good read on that by just seeing you approach her a bunch of times and pretend you're role playing a bunch of dates, certainly at the start of the date. And by going through this exercise, she'll give you a bunch of conversation starters, a bunch of openers. She'll give you techniques so that you never need to worry about running out of things to say ever again. The most important thing about this is between her finding out what's holding you back and her actually seeing what you do on a date, she is going to produce a plan for you. It's probably going to be 7, 8, 9 points. Most important thing will be a top 3. We guarantee if you just do a half-assed job of implementing 1, even 1 and 2 on this list, you will not recognize yourself again, even if you never come to a YouTube live or have anything more to do with us. Having a professional just go through and basically audit what you're doing right and wrong is so ridiculously powerful. I keep saying this, to beat the average guy in America, Australia, England, Canada, France, no, not so much France, but still France, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Holland, it is a joke. I mean, the men in our society are basically gone and all the women are just free. It's like there's a world war on and all the men have gone away to fight because so many men have just checked out. You really don't need to do much to beat everyone. This is something we charge $1,500 for on our website, but we give it away for basically nothing, because a percentage of the guys who do this decide, hey, this was unreal, I want more, but a percentage don't, and that's cool as well. So yeah, not $1,495. Tomorrow you can get it for free. We usually charge $29. We charge you $1. So yeah, for those guys watching the replay, there should be a link in the comments and description. Okie dokie. Next, we're going to get to our wonderful comments soon. Next one is to spotlight her strengths. This is a huge one. Most men see a girl like Tess, who's a 35-year-old catwalk model, former catwalk model turned dating coach, and all they see is beauty, and they decide, I want this girl, and they don't care much about her. Jackie, who you can see all over my YouTube channel, basically said something close to this. If I go on a date with a guy and he tells me sincerely I'm funny, intelligent, charismatic, even one of them, and he asks about the art I do, he's pretty much home and hose, simply because no other guy ever does that. One of the women who changed my life, who was a fly around the world model, I literally met her at a bar when I was on a boot camp, and basically I did 20% of the talking, maybe not even that, probably like 10% of the talking, and all I really did was ask questions about her favorite books. She spent an enormous amount of the time I met her talking, giving me a complete synopsis of Germs, Guns and Steel, and talking about her mum. Another girl I met, who's the best woman I've ever met in an English-speaking country, who was literally a $7,000 a day runway model, at least in Hong Kong, maybe not in Australia, America, but certainly in Hong Kong. She had a law degree and a comm degree. All I did was ask about her favorite books and then find out she was a meditator. That's all we did when I met her. And then the first date was basically just following on from that. So what I did was I shined a spotlight on these girls' strengths. I wasn't going, oh, you're a model, that's so cool. I wasn't telling them they were beautiful over and over again. I hardly ever told them they're beautiful. So yeah, Tess, talk about being a former runway model and being what most guys would consider a beautiful or an extremely beautiful woman, but also being very accomplished. You got 2 degrees, you're a Chinese medicine doctor, you paraglide, for God's sake, you're a pretty decent surfer, you've traveled extensively, you're very skilled at acupuncture, you've got so many things going for you, but so many guys just see an object. Just talk through that and how guys who share or shine a spotlight upon special things about you, particularly paragliding, have a huge advantage over all the other guys who just see a body and a big, pretty smile and nice eyes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, yeah, for someone who, constantly getting, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, you've got such beautiful eyes, or your smile, or whatever, your hair, whatever it is, and you hear that very often, it becomes a little bit devalued because you're hearing that all the time. And when it actually can become quite annoying, or like it can feel a little bit disrespectful when people only value you for those things. And especially when a guy comes up to you and he just puts you on a pedestal for the way you look. And, you know, he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. I just want to just come say hello. Or, and that's all he talks about. It's like, oh, God, dude, like, okay, whatever. What is beauty? What does that even mean? Like, it's who cares, you know? But on the other hand, when a guy can really connect with you and see something beyond that and actually show genuine interest in potentially one of my deeper values, or like the way I perceive something, or the way I think about something, or just one of my unique skills that other people don't really know about, that is so meaningful because I can see that he's looking beyond the surface and actually connecting with something that's really authentic and something that's really meaningful to me. So yeah, just think about that, guys. Like for a woman who might have never heard that she's beautiful before, to go up and give her a physical compliment might be, you know, might really work. You know, she might love that. It might really boost her confidence, etc. But for a woman who's like, oh, okay, whatever, I know I'm beautiful because everyone says that all the time, that's actually like the lowest form of compliment you can give her. I mean, yeah, beauty is still something that a lot of women, you know, value, and even beautiful women do as well. But it's definitely not the strongest thing to actually connect with a woman and make an impact. So yeah, just think about that.
Okay, I want to get to the thing we promised, the best thing, the model bonking trick of all time. We might just quickly say hi to everyone. Tess, you're prettier than me. You know, just say hi to our regulars. Happy birthday, Jeff! Happy birthday, Jeff! Hey Martin. Hey Jeff. Oh.
We've got Landon here. We've got Stevie. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Who else? I saw another familiar.
Tom, Martin, Babbling Booby.
Babbling Booby. Welcome.
Welcome, Babbling Booby. Adam Anderson. That's a cool name. Yeah, I got a bunch. Okay, well, I'm just going to do what I said I'd do and give you guys the best thing ever, and then we'll get straight to your some good questions there by the looks of things. Okie dokie. In all sincerity, I can't believe I'm giving this away on YouTube. The Sidewalk Secret. Once you start dating beautiful women, you learn about beautiful women, you learn about their psychology, you learn about their strengths and weaknesses, you learn about the things they can't stand, you learn the things they love. And one of the first models I dated, she started teaching me. She put it upon herself to teach me. So she taught me that back in the Industrial Revolution, or back when there were horses and carts running around the road, women used to get horse shit or mud on their beautiful long dresses all the time. So a gentleman would always walk on the street side, protecting his lady from the horse shit and the mud. Now, that's not a big issue in New York, or it might be in some parts of America where it's just gone totally nuts. You might be protecting him from the, what you call it, the Oxycontin people or the crack people who I don't know. You might need to walk on the street side protecting them from the Oxycontin addicts in many places in the world's greatest country now. But yeah, so I've always taken that on. And what I will do, this is such a ninja tip, is if I'm on a date with any girl, but particularly a really beautiful girl, I'll be walking along on the street side, protecting her from nothing, but it still works somehow. And then when we swap over the street, when we cross over the road, I'll touch on this. This is so good. This is how I get sex quite quickly. I'll touch on the small of the back and just move her over and put her on the other side. And I'll do this, and I'll get a hell of a lot of time touching her as well. And then I've 20 times a girl with a face I should never have got near turns around and looks at me, and her eyes just light up like a Christmas tree when I do that. So yeah, I cannot possibly overstate how ninja this fucking thing is. It's like so much things in dating. It signals pre-selection. Where the hell did this old, awkward, geeky, average looking, kind of well presented guy, where the hell did he learn all these tricks? I can't wait to see what he does in the bedroom. Tess, you don't need to necessarily lead off from the last point, but it's probably true. Just talk about guys having those manners. One of the latter points tonight, we're going to go into some more of those ninja manners as well. This is the most powerful one of all, but you want to do some other stuff as well. So, and one thing I say to my clients on the boot camps is, in public, you want to be an English gentleman, straight out of Oxford. In private, you want to be like this 8-year-old kid on a sugar high, just so much energy, so much life, so much fun. In the bedroom, you want to be the master of the freaking universe. So we're teaching you how to be an English gentleman in public. And when you can be an English gentleman in public, the contrast of you're an 8-year-old kid on a sugar high in private, then you're the master of the freaking universe in the bedroom. Girls are just like, I give up. I can't see any other man. This is the only guy for me. I don't care if he's 25 years too old, too short, he's got gray hair, he's a little bit overweight. As long as you don't have hairs growing out your nose, she'll do you. Tess, talk about the Sidewalk Secret.
Yeah, absolutely. Something like what James described is it just shows so much respect, but also attentiveness. Like, we really feel cared for and valued just by something which seems so simple. So that is worth so much to a woman. When we're just walking down the street and we think, oh, you're also just walking down the street and not thinking about anything, but then you actually show, I'm thinking about your safety and your comfort in everything I'm doing, but it's just such a subtle gesture, as well as bringing in some nice touch as well. That's really powerful. We take note of all of these things. So yeah, I absolutely love that, James. And I can see why that's worked really well for you. Yeah, there are a lot of just little subtle things that you can do to show a woman that that's not about putting her on a pedestal. That's a really subtle, just respectful, kind, courteous, attentive thing to do, which is huge.
Fantastic. Tess, do you want to get stuck into the comments and the questions?
Yeah, sure. Cool. Yeah. So welcome, guys. If you're new here, say hello. We've definitely got some regulars here. If you're new, I did notice a couple of new names, but if you're new, say hello. You're welcome to put any comments or questions about any of the content tonight, or really any sticking points you have with women in the chat, and we're here to help you. But let's get stuck into a couple of questions. First question we had was from Stevie, who says, what if I've spent years putting women on a pedestal? Can I fix it fast? Okay, yes, you can fix it. Obviously, if you've got some bad habits, they can be hard to break. So we really need to figure out what your particular issues are. But yeah, putting a woman on a pedestal it doesn't make you seem attractive or desirable, because you make yourself look too easy, desperate. And there's something in, I think, human psychology where if it's too easy, we're like, there must be something wrong there, especially for women. Yeah, you do have to present yourself as a desirable man in the early part of dating. So think about what you might be doing to be putting her on a pedestal, and we want to eliminate those things. And yeah, some of the tips we've talked about in date planning, and actually some of the other lives we've done as well, might be worth looking at for particularly around being the desirable man, getting her to chase you, and not putting her on the pedestal. James, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it can be a real thing to reverse, and there's a cultural aspect to that. I know a lot of guys from, say, Asian backgrounds that they've got this like blueprint of the man sort of doing everything and paying for everything and being there, and the man's job is just purely look after a woman, even to the point of getting taken advantage of. And Asian guys are notoriously common at getting taken advantage of, particularly by Asian women, but also by white women. Next question. You can fix it. I wouldn't say you can fix it fast. You've just got to understand that dating is a 50-50 thing. And you got to understand that dating is a game. It's a negotiation. You got to learn how to play this game. If you want to learn how to play the game of dating, which includes female psychology and women's tests and games, then yeah, you're in for a bad run, because it's not a pleasant world out there today. Next question, Tess.
Okay. Firstly, Martin is saying, looking very suave, James. You look good. Your hair looks good. But question from Virtual. So what do you do for a date plan if there isn't any really good place near you? I don't know. Would you live in the middle of suburbia, maybe? Even like a park or somewhere just outdoors where you can go for a little walk. Where you can sit down in nature, or somewhere with a nice view, that sort of thing. It can be really simple. You don't have to think of, some amazing sunset view of the Harbour Bridge or something for your first date. It doesn't have to be that. So yeah, keeping it simple is actually a really good thing, because you get to focus more on the actual conversation and getting to know her, rather than and blowing her away with that and your charisma, rather than focusing on like impressing her with an activity or something, or a setting, let's say. James, do you have anything you want to add to that as well?
Absolutely. A lot of guys underrate what they need. They think they need to live in central Manhattan or central London or Bondi Beach or South Beach, Miami or something. Obviously that's good. There's no disputing that. But so often just a local park where people are playing football, that can be enough. You just get some, I don't know, Amazon, it costs you like $10 or something. You just get some sort of blanket with some sort of like rubber plastic sole for so it doesn't get damp. And then, you can just take some strawberries and some takeaway cups of tea. And then you can maybe go for a walk, take a picnic basket, maybe stop and get a cup of tea somewhere, walk there. It's amazing what you can do. I'm not saying everyone's got a good date. And there's a lot of guys. The social coach currently is based in Sydney. We plan to be visiting America hopefully later in the year, because we'll get some guys signing up from America. But yeah, there's a lot of extraordinarily beautiful places in Sydney that no one's ever heard of. So yeah, you'd be surprised how there's this little lake or there's this little thing just near you. For the rest of the world, it could just be a really cool bar. It could just be a really nice little funky cafe. It doesn't need much. The core things are, if you can keep it all walking or short drives. Uber completely changed the world of dating, because prior to Uber, you either had to call or hail a cab, which took time, and the cabs were disgusting. And I had a date with a girl in LA, with a really beautiful girl I met in a boot camp in LA, and the bloody cab driver, he took me on like a 90-minute expedition for a journey that should have taken half an hour, and he made me look like a real loser, because I was getting royally screwed by this guy. If you got a pretty girl in the back, the cab driver is smart enough to screw you because he thinks you got money. So I have more problems with people trying to rip me off when I got a pretty girl beside me, possibly because I think you won't protest because you don't want to look bad in front of the pretty girl. They picked the wrong guy. So yeah, the thing, if you are out in the suburbs, there's nothing around. All there is houses. There's no park. There's no water. There's nothing. And you'd be surprised. Usually there's a place where kids can play on swings or something. Just some swings. I've had quite a few dates that just ended up with me pushing a girl on a swing. Not many, but it's given it that fun thing. Even if it isn't, when we get onto the Saturday of the boot camp and in our course, we talk a lot about two-step date plans, where you might have to do a central first date, and then you plan another date where you could take her out nearer your house. One thing you can do, I mean, Uber's made it so much easier. Just order an Uber. You wouldn't necessarily go for the super premium ones, but you might just order a nice Camry or something with leather seats. And you can give her a really beautiful experience. That's why date planning is probably, in terms of the number of minutes you invest in coming up with a good date plan, once you follow the structure that we give you. I think that's like the third Zoom session our new clients do with Tess. They should be running through the date plan. It's just one of the first things, because it's this gigantic hole in most people's dating funnel. Next question. We'll do one more question and we'll get back to another point.
Cool. So Landon's asking, James, I'm inexperienced with first dates, get very nervous. Any suggestions how I can reduce first date anxiety? Thanks.
I'll do that. Watch this several times, because this is most of the points here are designed how to make a guy who's not that confident much more confident with an attractive girl. So have a date plan is number one. Have open-ended questions in the bag is probably number two. Just make I do this on dates, particularly when it's a really beautiful girl and I think I'm going to start showing off. I will just tell myself, sometimes I'll take out my phone and write a note in my phone and I'll put listen in capital letters, and I might even rehearse some open-ended question, like prepare some open-ended questions based upon what I know about her when I met her. I do this. I'm supposed to be really freaking good at it. So if I'm doing it, I think most of the people watching me in YouTube land should be doing it too. I must have gone clicking, but I think I clicked on a thing on Instagram or probably Twitter where Charlie Munger was saying the number one most important decision you make in your business and financial life is who your life partner is. And guys do 5-8 years at university. They slave away 40, 50, 60, in some cases 70, 80 hours a week in their business, at least for a time. Some guys do this for years or decades on end. And then they just marry the hottest girl who lands on their dick, or some new receptionist, or some girl who works at the golf club or the sailing club. I'm getting very cliched here. Or the polo, she met a girl he met at polo. Wow, she seemed great. She seems lovely. She can't be a gold digger if I met her at the polo. I mean, you get some really accomplished, smart guys who are just so fucking stupid. Elon Musk dated Amber Heard, for fuck's sake. The whole fate of Western civilization would have been dramatically different if Amber fell in love with Elon, not Johnny. So thank you, God. Thank you, Johnny Depp. Thank you, God, for making Amber Heard fall in love with Johnny Depp, because we'd be halfway to China if it wasn't for that. So yeah, just have a killer date plan. Practice open-ended questions. Come up with some good ones. Prepare some based upon your knowledge of her. Before you go on the date, just review your date plan. Check the weather. Maybe scope out parts of your date plan. This is stuff we talk about, where you're aware, you go into the cafe you're going and figure out which couch you'd rather sit in. My favorite bookstore cafe, I used to go like an hour before the date with a book and sit on this killer couch, because I knew that was going to be the lethal start to my date plan, particularly if it was raining. I didn't have all the other options I wanted to. So yeah, what else can you do? Just realize that the girl could be very nervous as well. If you are very inexperienced with first dates, you want to warm up. So what I love to do is go for a run, go for a swim. You might want to go to the gym. You might want to go do boxing. You might want to play the drums. You might want to play the guitar. You might want to play with your niece and nephews or your dog, or just do something fun. Do something to take you out of your mind. Do something to pick your energy up. Yeah, on boot camps, we maniacally warm guys up before we take them out on the first night. And that's why pretty much every guy who comes to one of our boot camps approaches no problem. And by Saturday night, he just thinks it's easy. He's doing stuff he didn't even believe possible, just because we run through a series of steps every time. We need to, because we've got a whole bunch of guys in one event. We've got to make all of them happy, including the really nervous ones. That's a great question, Landon. Thank you. I might just get back to the next point. Can you remember where we're up to, please, Tess?
Yes, we were up to number 6.
Landon, especially for you, get her talking. Get her talking. The less I talk, the more I fuck. The less I talk, the more I fuck. The more I talk, the less I fuck. The more I listen, the more I fuck. The less I listen, the less I fuck. I just made that up then. Get it through your thick fucking heads. Hot women don't care about you up until the fact you found out a lot about them. Hot women love to talk. They love to talk about themselves. And if they find some guy who can actually listen to them talk about themselves, they get pretty excited and sometimes pretty drippy whippy down there, because that's a rare thing in a hot girl's life, to meet a guy who can shut up, stop drooling over her, stop staring at her tits or her bum or her legs or whatever they're staring at, and listen. So get her talking. Ask what we call big motherfucker open-ended questions. That's one that if you book a Zoom call with Tess or you come in a boot camp, the whole point of the Zoom calls with Tess is to make you a conversational master, like better than 99% of guys, which we probably do achieve with every client before they get in the boot camp. The reason I came up with the idea of, oh shit, my business is just going to die because it just takes one awkward guy in a boot camp to get a complaint from some girl at a venue we use, and we're shut out of it with the woke media. We're screwed. So I thought, oh, we'll give them a bunch of dates on Zoom so that they're smooth enough to have on boot camps. So yeah, that was actually, I mean, consider that was like an apple hitting Newton on the head. Gravity, wow, the laws of physics. It changed everything, because now our clients get to the boot camp far better than they ever left the boot camps. So yeah, get her talking, get her talking. Imagine what it would be like going on a date where you don't need to worry about running out of things to say. You don't need to worry about awkward silences. You don't need to worry about her not enjoying herself simply because you've had the training and you've got the questions, you've got the systems, and you've got a bunch of our best open-ended questions and structures in your pocket. Imagine going on a date, or imagine approaching a girl knowing you're never going to run out of things to say. I mean, I can't remember the last time I ran out of things to say with a girl, and a lot of my clients would say the same thing. Tess, just talk about a guy who listens, a guy who asks good questions. Maybe talk about the opposite, where you meet a guy, you go on a date, maybe you're stuck at dinner, and it just goes, it gets awkward. Tension comes in the air. Then a guy you thought you really liked, you waxed your innards for him like 2 hours ago, and now you can't wait to get out of there. Just giving an example of waxing innards and then wanting to run away. Like you climbed out the bathroom window with your waxed innards because you had to get away from this awkward guy.
Okay, I always thought innards were like internal organs. But
I'm trying to avoid saying the C word on YouTube, Tess. Give me a.
Okay. Okay, so no, I definitely have been on dates which have just crashed and burned because guys felt
after
the need
waxing.
Yeah, well, I keep it maintained down there, but we won't go into that. Yeah, which have absolutely crashed and burned when guys feel the need to. I don't know. They've either just got a huge ego or they're really nervous and they just, all they can do is talk about themselves. They like ask me a question and I go to answer and they're like, oh yeah, I've done that, and just like cut in, interrupt, and then just start talking about themselves for 10 minutes. I'm like, cool, okay, yeah. I thought you were asking me the question, but that's cool. I'm a pretty friendly, open person, and I give people the time of day, but a lot of other women aren't as nice as me, and they just wouldn't even. They just walk away. Like it's so off-putting. Women, the easiest way to get her invested in a conversation and get her to like you is to get her talking about something she loves. Ask her great questions, engaging questions about the things she really wants to be talking about, her biggest passions in life or something she's really interested in, a great experience she's had. and just connect with that. Ask her, ask her more questions, go deeper, show your interest, and show that you value certain things that she's talking about. Then you're getting her to invest in this interaction. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely have some memorable, horrible, bad days where guys have just completely stolen the spotlight, and yeah, it's just kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, can you imagine a girl who goes to trouble of pouring warm wax down the inside of her legs, near where all the delicate little pink bits are, then she rips it off, and then she gets on a date all excited, and the guy's just a doofus who talks about himself, and then gets awkward and runs out of things to say. Then she has to climb out the window with her freshly waxed bits. Yeah, but this is life for so many women. So yeah, the secret of getting her talking is to ask open-ended questions. We probably say this in our coaching more than anything else. Like, it's not like, oh, so Tess, anything good planned for the weekend? That's closed-ended. She can go, not really, big nose, grey bearded old man, and turn her back at me. Instead, I say, so Tess, tell me, what are you most looking forward to this weekend? See how that's an open-ended question. I'm demanding an answer. Tell me, what are you most looking forward to this weekend? That's the biggest tip of all. So that's really good. We might do a few more comments. Can you get back onto comments, Tess?
Yes. So we are up to a question from Martin, who asks, once I master these, how do I move from dates to a real long-term mate? Okay, so, well, you basically just keep doing this. You want to keep dating. And obviously, I think you've got to keep passing her tests. Tests will change from the early part of dating into more, relationship, especially if it's like a monogamous relationship. She is going to be testing for your loyalty or that sort of thing. It depends how you set up the relationship. But I think that, I think that long-term relationships are really based on good communication and trust. So those are things that develop over time naturally. Like, the more time you spend with each other, the more you'll, it just happens. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of the passing tests and not being too available, not putting her on pedestal, all this stuff we talk about does apply a lot to the early stages of dating. All of that, I think it gets easier as you move into long-term relationships, where you can kind of strip away the layers a bit of like the game playing, or her running, putting you through all those tests to figure out who you are. Because once she knows who you are, and she knows, yes, this guy's dependable, he's reliable, I can trust him, we have good communication, etc., she's not going to be testing you as hard, and also potentially you have a lot more open communication where you can just call things out and talk about things rather than just having to jump through hoops all the time. So obviously with passing tests, like, being able to call them out and diffuse them is a really great strategy so that they don't keep happening. Yeah.
Once I master these, how to move from dates to a real long-term mate. Tess said it correctly. Like, I was once asked on an event, how do you know when you've fallen in love? And it was like the dumbest question I've ever been asked in my life, because it's like this force takes over every cell in your being, and you're somehow completely and utterly addicted uncontrollably to another person. It's binary. It's like you're either in love or you're not in love. It's not like, oh yeah, she was really wonderful, she was the best I've had. So when you meet someone really special, you will know, the universe will tell you. It'll be very different from anything else you ever experienced. So the number one mistake most men in the West make, particularly successful, driven guys who are very focused on one or two objectives, is they just settle far too early. They find a girl who's, beautiful, sucks their dick semi-regularly, isn't a bitch for at least 6 months or a year, and then they end up living with her, in relationships with her, getting married to her, having kids with her. It's a complete and utter disaster, particularly with the family law courts that torture successful men for 5 or 7 or 9 or 10 years. You want to date around, you want to get enough experience to actually understand what you want. When I was in finance, very successful by most, not Elon Musk's standards, but most people's standards, I was very successful. I was crazy about this girl who, if I had met her after I'd slept with even 15 girls, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll spend a night or two with you, but that's about it. You're boring as batshit to me, apart from the fact you were hot with very nice boobies. But yeah, most guys have no idea what they want because they've never been a man and gone out into the world and met enough girls and dated enough girls and slept with enough girls to actually find out what it is you want. So once I'm asked these, how do I move from dates to a long-term relationship? You want to play the field a bit. You want to kiss a few frogs. Now, I know for you guys who are in your 50s or 60s already, that might sound a bit scary because you guys just want Tess and I to wave a magic wand, click our fingers and drop the perfect girl in front of you. Well, we're going to get her much quicker than you ever would otherwise, but you're still going to get some bad ones. You're going to get some really damaged ones. And you're not going to know they're damaged for 2 weeks or a month or sometimes more. So yeah, you've just got to date around and you've got to improve your skills. And then you get to a point where you can get women on another level altogether. Okay, next question, Tess.
Okay, Babbling Booby says, are you one of those don't call me a chicks? No, I mean, I think, no, not necessarily. I'm not a don't call me a chick. No, that's okay. You can call me a chick. I guess, yeah, I don't find that offensive. That's okay. It depends how you say it.
I love your little Star Wars babbling beauty thing. That's pretty cool, man. You're gonna get some prizes for that. Next one.
Okay, Landon's asking, how quickly will I see results with these 11 things? Okay.
I might take it first. I don't think anyone's going to apply all 11. If you do, we'll be very impressed. But if you can just pick 3, 4, or 5 and actually execute them, you will see a massive difference when you go on dates with girls, like a massive difference. If all you do is rehearse open-ended questions based upon your initial conversation, put them into your notes section, walk on the street side with her, and maybe go, okay, I'm gonna ask good questions. I'm going to do less than 30% of the talking. If they're and dress quite nicely. If that's only 3 things you do, dress as Tess teaches you. If you just do those 4 things, it will be brave new world for you. You won't even recognize yourself or the results you get, even if you do a bunch of other stuff wrong, like you probably usually do. And that will help melt away so much of your nervousness. Tess, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I agree. It's doing all 11 things is going to be really hard, especially if you're, if you haven't had any training, and you're just trying to get as much as you can out of this, and going at it on your own. If you really want to, if you think date plan, yes, that's something I could definitely work on and need help with. That's something I can help you with. Book in a session with me, because we've really just scratched the surface here tonight about what a good date plan looks like, but it takes a bit of time to actually figure out what that is for you. And also there are a lot of little nuances that we haven't even mentioned here tonight, so that's one thing. If you want some individualized help, come see me. And other things as well, like open-ended questions. Like, do you know what an open-ended question is? Do you know good open-ended questions? If you want to practice those things with me and get real feedback on your delivery, and you're going to be skyrocketed way faster than trying to do this on your own accord. So yeah, how quickly will you see results? If you implement these things well, you'll see results pretty quickly. Like, you'll see, even speaking to like your friends, your mom, people will start responding to you differently. It's like, wow, okay, this stuff works. But if you haven't had the feedback, sometimes you might be making mistakes and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if this really works. So best thing is to book in a session with me and actually practice it. And I can tell you exactly how to do it, and set you in the right direction. And yes, you will see results quite quickly. Yes.
I just noticed in the calendar that Tess is booked at 4:45. This is Sydney time, and 5:50 already. So I think we got 2,700 and 2,500 views on the last two. I mean, people are watching for a long time, particularly the Australians. They're watching for half an hour. So things might get a lot busier soon. So you might want to jump in. And we've had a whole bunch of guys book from the States as well. So yeah, typically we don't get that many bookings when we're on the live, but we get quite a few after, because we've already had two already by the sounds of it. So there's probably not that many left. So if you're interested, you might want to jump on the link. We'll do one more question, Tess, then get on to the next one.
Another one from Martin. We surely will make some or lots of mistakes when reading signals or touch or body language if we've been out of the dating world for a long time and need practice. Yes,
absolutely.
I agree with that. Yeah.
There's only one way to get back into it. If I go play basketball or cricket now, which I used to be quite good at, and I go play now, I mean, I'm not going to be anything like I was. It's just not the way it is. If I go play American football now, I'm going to be completely useless because I've never played it before, and I'm skinny as all fuck. So yeah, it's just a new skill that many guys have to learn. But the thing about dating is, most guys study pickup artist methods or some derivation of it by some clever marketer or YouTuber, or they do nothing. Or they just spend money and buy a BMW. So you don't need to do much good stuff to get completely outsized results. And that's what we find repeatedly. We've done Get Her Talking. Next one is Look the Part. A lot of people take offense to this. We've coached thousands of guys. Now, I can't think of, other than guys who have been following us, I can't think of anyone we didn't need to work on their style for. Now, a lot of the guys who think they are stylish, they were almost always trying too hard. And we had a bunch of wealthy guys who went to stylists. And it's like when my female coaches saw them, they were just like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to look like Justin Bieber or some sort of archetypal whatever playboy. It was so repulsive. And stylists will often, in our experience, dress you, not all of them, but certainly many of the ones, they'll dress you in a way that doesn't suit your personality. We're not, Russell Brand hasn't come to us for coaching yet. We're not coaching many of those flamboyant arty-farty types. And I'm sure Russell Brand does very, very well with women. But yeah, you want to look the part. And many of our clients are successful business owners or engineers or doctors or skilled tradesmen, often with businesses, or corporate guys or something like that. So yeah, you want to dress appropriately to who you are. And that's something I think social coach Tess and I and the other coaches have mastered. We make you look stylish, but boring but stylish. You're not trying hard, but you just look effortlessly cool. And a big part of that is, do the clothes fit? Do the colors suit you? Do they fit your body type? I'll just pick on me because I'm here. I just broke my ribs and my toe. So yeah, I haven't washed my hair in a while, so I just had to brush it. But you can see me, I've got a very, very long face. So if I'm this grey beard is not helping much, but if I'm unshaven and my hair's stuck up like that, I'm an ugly prick. But I might be like a 5 out of 10 or a 4.5 out of 10 or something. But if I have my hair coming down over, my hair looks shocking now. But if I have my hair coming down a bit at the front, particularly if there's a bit of texture in it, and I have a bit more volume on the side, so my little fucking long pencil face, you're like making it thicker and you're making it shorter. So there's all these magic tricks you can do to turn potentially an ugly or a bottom quartile person into a top quartile person. I can easily turn myself from a bottom quartile man into a top quartile man just by doing a few little tricks that I don't know, just because we're not trying to dress you in the latest fashions or in this particular brand or with this particular look or with what's cool this season. We're trying to make you as sexy as you can possibly be by studying your colorings, your build, how big are your arms, how big are your waist. Like a guy I dressed recently, he's a very good looking guy, but he has had quite wide hips relative to his shoulders. So we want to do stuff to sort of hide that. Women do this all the time. To give you a quick story, a friend of mine who was a dating coach but wasn't very good with the ladies, he hooked up with a Danish girl. He was very charismatic, but he was terrible with women. So he wasn't a scam dating coach. He could help guys in some way. But he hooked up with a girl, and the first time I saw her, this is when I was really promiscuous. I'm like, wow, she's really cute. How the hell did you get her? Anyway, I was hanging out with her. Oh, wow, I'd probably bang this girl. This guy didn't really get girls I was interested in. And then I tried to help him, and I played some games and got the energy up with him. And I took some photos of the two of them together, and I take photos of her. And then I looked at the photos, and the illusion broke. She was fat. This girl was fat, but she had this incredible outfit where she had a headband in the color of her eyes that complemented her eyes and took away quite a wide face somehow. And the way she'd done her hair. And then she had this like, you guys aren't interested in women's fashion, but I'm just trying to make an important point. Then she had this sort of, what you call it? Like mesh top that was like a bra, even though she had no boobs. She was just a big, fat, sort of podgy girl. She had this mesh top that was blue, I think, on top of this shapeless white dress. But that made it look like there was a lot of stuff there. And then she had tan legs that weren't that fat, and she had it too short. And I'm like, this was like a 4.5 or a 5, and she turned herself into a 9. Now, we do that for guys as well. I mean, apart from the fact most guys, nothing fits. You don't understand your colors. You're trying too hard. You're wearing too many brands. That's like the second thing we do for guys on the Zoom calls. We just get you to take photos of your entire wardrobe, what you wear at the gym, what you wear to work, what you wear on a date, what you wear if you're just hanging around. And one thing so many clients do, including a guy I worked with recently, when he goes out on a Saturday night, he tries his guts out. He tries way too hard. He's wearing fancy jackets and fancy this and necklaces and shit. He's trying his guts out for 3 hours. And then for the other 165 hours a week, he dresses like a fucking homeless person, even though he's a really good looking guy. So yeah, we teach you and we give you bespoke outfits for every bit. So yeah, you've just got to make sure your clothes fit and that they're appropriate shape for your body type. Like if I want to be as hot as I possibly can, I wear a long sleeve t-shirt with what you call it, is it a grandpa t-shirt, or I don't know what they call them, with the buttons there, and I wear it in certain colors that really flatter me because my beard can get a little bit of red in it. So I want to wear colors that hide that. It's like an entire science to the way you present yourself. And you might think you're a 4.5. You can jump up to an 8, maybe an 8.5, just by looking the part. And if you're from America, Australia, much of Canada, other than the Montreal French bit, even that they struggle these days. English guys are better than these 3 countries, but not much better. The Northern English guys are terrible. And yeah, even many of the Europeans these days are way better than Americans, Australians. You guys are terrible recently too, just with globalization. So Tess, do you want to talk about how you see certain guys and you see the way you present themselves, you go, wow, he's hot. And then you actually analyze him closer, you go, no, he's not really hot at all.
Yeah, it's actually the opposite way around. Like some guys, I'm like, oh wow, that guy's hot because of the way they've presented themselves. And so like, yeah, like from a distance, you're like, oh, this is like impressive. And then they come close, and when they're like really close to you, like, oh, wait, he's actually not that hot. Yeah, I think a guy who's not presented well, even if he is really hot, I won't even see the hotness. I'll just be like, ugh, who is that? Like, I'm just not paying attention straight away. So, yeah, it's, yeah, I think a lot of guys, like a lot of older guys just dress way too young. They dress like, you know, if you put their I've seen a lot of guys, you know, if you replicate their outfit in like toddler size, it would be applicable to what you'd see like a little boy running around in, you know, like big motifs on their t-shirts and like different clashing colors, bottom and top, and like sneakers with shorts and just weird stuff like that. And it's like they never learned how to dress themselves and just continued dressing like they dressed when they were a child. And yeah, and on the other hand as well, just like trying way too hard to be cool as well. That's a really bad one. It's like, it's almost like you start to question, like, what's this guy compensating for? Like, if he has to project so hard this like cool persona, you start to question like what like, it's actually not cool. It's funny because trying to be cool is like the least cool thing you can do. So when it seems like it's forced, it's just really off-putting. Like it needs to be effortless, timeless, just flattering to you, and the only judgment that the woman should be making is like, oh wow, this guy's, you know, he's dressed well or he looks good. You know, there's no like, oh, what's going on there. It's just keep it simple, guys. And yeah, if you think you need help with your style as well, book in with me. I'll help you with that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I watched the graph of these, and whenever we talk about style, it just goes like that. You guys aren't interested, but it takes you from like a 5 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 in one go. And first, spending a few $100s and getting it to actually fit in colors that suit and cuts that suit, you can revolutionize your success with women. It's boring. I've got no interest in it, but it's so effective. Just quickly, I had a client I coached who was a real dork. He was an engineer. He was very bright, and he was just about as nerdy as they come. And we coached him, and he got some really good results. He was happy. He got a girlfriend. He slept with a bunch of girls for, you know, a 50-something-year-old guy who was basically bottom quintile of attractiveness. Quintile is 10% for anyone watching. Bottom 10%. So he went off to do a boot camp with another dating coach, one of the few guys I think's legit. And anyway, this dating coach had a style person. I think one of his girlfriends dressed him. One of this guy's girlfriends, he'd hired her as a stylist once he broke up with her, and she dressed him. And any of you familiar with the TV show Miami Vice with Don Johnson? This complete and utter fucking dork we made into quite a confident man. Rather than dress like Daniel Craig, James Bond or something, he dresses like Don Johnson, Miami Vice, where he had, you know, he's showing this much of his ankles. And he literally had a pink t-shirt and a sky blue blazer. And then he had some sort of pocket square, and he had these like cream, I can't remember, I think he had cream pants on. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Did you just fall out of an ice cream shop or something? And it's just, it was so completely different to his personality, the way he was dressed. It's like dressing like I'm a motherfucking PMIP. It's like he's dancing in a 50 Cent song or something. The guy was the least cool human being, and the Elephant Man's cooler than this fucking dude, but he's dressing like Don Johnson in Miami Vice. And the guy had a fucking comb over. He literally had this obvious comb over with his outfit. I'm just like, girls are just going to look at you and vomit. It's like, what are you doing, man? It's so different to who you are. Another example I had, hopefully you guys are still watching. This is so valuable. I literally had a 6'6" guy who played college basketball in the States, who worked in hedge funds, who retired at 31. I think he made 4.5 million quid, nearly tax-free, on his 31st birthday. Did I say he'd had Muay Thai fights in the ring? He meditated. He had a whole bunch of property. He's a super cool guy. He'd read literature. He did every single box a girl could ever want ticked. He ticked. And I basically needed to get fucking cattle prods and to electrocute the girls with tasers to keep all the models away from this guy. They were just like, they were so bad. They were just going crazy over him. Anyway, his friend, who was a killer stud, who was more of a Johnny Depp type, he dressed him. So this guy who walks into the room and women get wet, they find out anything about his background, women just fall for him straight away. two of my trainers were absolute disgraces around him. These are the girls on the YouTube channel, not Tess. And yeah, he's dressed. Again, he had a sky blue. I think it was like £3,000 sterling tailored jacket. And then he had these, I can't remember, silk shirts that were handmade for him that he'd wear with the jacket. Then he had the pocket square. Then he had, I can't even remember, the £5,000 sterling watch and the £800 shoes. And he puts on for me, I'm just like, that is atrocious. You're like the hottest guy ever, and you're trying so fucking hard to impress women. You are trying so fucking hard to impress women. You could have worn a pair of Levi's and a plain black t-shirt and some Converse or some Vans. Every girl's going to get wet on sight if they fit you. And you're just trying so hard to get women. And what that's going to do, if any of you are watching like that, is like girls like Tess or models with degrees, they're going to see this guy going, he's trying so hard to be a player. They're going to turn and run away and never come back. Whereas, the guy will just sweep through sixes and sevens like nobody's business, which funnily enough was what he was doing before he met me. So yeah, you've got to understand who you are, what sort of personality type you are, what your body type is, what your colorings are, what your age is, what your occupation is. If you're some sort of artist or maybe an architect, you probably dress a lot differently than if you're a software engineer or an electrical engineer. Okay, rant over. And for fuck's sake, don't just wear Polo Ralph Lauren and Lacoste. Yes, Polo Ralph Lauren make excellent polo shirts that last forever. They were great when I was traveling. But you're advertising, I've got 3 degrees, I earn more than $200,000 a year, and I'm as boring as batshit. That's what Polo Ralph Lauren says. When I was in finance, I wore them all the time. You're advertising boring as batshit. You want, see, look at the laugh on Tess. Have you ever dated seriously a Polo Ralph Lauren guy? I've asked a bunch of models this. They're going, no, I'll do that when I'm like 35 and, my tits are down at my kneecaps and I just want some guy who's never going to leave me. That's when I go for the Polo Ralph Lauren guy. I want something exciting. I don't want to fall asleep during all our dates. So, yeah, I'll probably be sued by Polo Ralph Lauren for defamation or something and Lacoste. But, yeah, Polo Ralph Lauren equals boring. Chinos equal you suck in bed. You are so bad in bed. You can't last 3 minutes. You pathetic, miserable. I earn $250,000 a year. Have to buy hot girls' handbags to keep them around. Boring. I was going to use the C word. It was lucky I didn't. So anyway, you've got a whole ton of content there. You probably all switch off because none of you want to hear me talk about style. You want some cutting edge stuff with a fancy headline, but this is what you need to do to succeed. We're giving it to you for free. Anyway, let's do a few more questions.
Okay, so a question from Adam Anderson. Question, drunk women and dealing with that. I've had quite a few drunk women hit on me and flirt with me. They want to escalate things sexually. I'm having issues with taking her home that night. And my question is, can you like a person, want to exchange numbers, but not take her home? It feels like I would be taking advantage of the girl. Lol, had a weird Friday night, need to vent. Okay, so...
I might start with that, Tess. I've got some experience. Okay, because I lead boot camps, that happens quite a bit of the time, and because, hopefully it's what I do for a living, I appear very confident socially and with women. It happens a lot. So, yeah, a lot of times the drunk girl, she doesn't actually want to go home and have sex with you. Some of them do. They just want to make out with you and have a bit of a high, particularly if they're below a certain age group. They just want to have a fun night and hook up with the good-looking guy or the confident guy. It happened on a recent boot camp with some stupidly hot guy. Some girl just went for him and started making out and hanging on to him in front of all her friends. She didn't sleep with him. She had no intention. She just wanted attention and energy from the hot guy. So it happens pretty much all the time. You can take her home and it can be very, very easy. And some of the girls are up for you taking them home. Many of them, if you do it very confidently. You might need to drag them away from some concerned friends, which is a skill set in itself. You definitely can do it, but the issue is, and I shouldn't say this is not my interests, but yeah, in many parts of the world, certainly California, certainly Australia, probably many parts of America and Europe, if a girl has had one drink of alcohol, she legally doesn't have the ability to consent to sex anymore, which is absurd. It's completely absurd. So you might say it's an edge case. It's not going to happen very often, but there is the risk that if a girl's clearly drunk and other people see her drunk, you go home and have sex with her, she gets back to her boyfriend who she's pissed off with and cheating on, then she decides it's a bad idea. She'll turn around and say, oh, he raped me. This has happened before. So bear in mind that in the post-Harvey Weinstein era, where the wokies have taken over the world with nonsensical legislation, yeah. I mean, one of my jokes is if the English didn't invent alcohol, there'd be no white people left anywhere on the face of the earth. We would have evolved our way out of the population a long, long time ago. There'd be no wokeness because there'd be no white people left because we didn't have alcohol to actually mate. We didn't have Tinder then. We needed alcohol to make us, for us white people to survive. We still do. I don't think there'll be many white. Yeah, I mean, obviously certain parts of the world are breeding very quickly. They want to reduce the number of white people. Why don't they just ban alcohol? We'll bring back prohibition. If white people have no alcohol to lubricate sexual confidence and approaching, then we just won't exist in 3 generations because we'll stop breeding because the men are so scared of the women unless we have all the alcohol. So yeah, it can feel like taking advantage of a girl, but a lot of girls go out and they decide, okay, I'm going to hook up with some guy tonight, and they just drink themselves into the state where they do that. And they take a guy home. Happened to a guy in my last boot camp. He was just the lucky, confident guy who was in the path of a girl who decided, I'm going to have a few drinks and take a guy home. Happens all the time. So would you take her home? Bear in mind there is some degree of risk as long as you're a gentleman throughout the process, and you might even want to take some notes about what happened straight afterwards, just in case anything does happen, you do end up down the police station. You can say, this guy on YouTube said if you're going to sleep with drunk chicks, take some detailed notes, just in case they find out you got a bunch of money, or their boyfriend gets shitty at them for cheating on him when they were pissed off with him and then they change their mind, which chicks do, unless you use social coach sexual techniques, in which case that's never going to happen. She'll be flying over to you for nobody's business. Tess, do you want to give any perspective on sleeping with drunk chicks?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, like at your own risk, because of consent issues. So yeah, it is at your own risk. From what you've said that you feel like this is taking advantage of her and you feel a bit uncomfortable with that. Seems like you're a good guy, Adam. If you actually really like her and think, I want to give her a chance, but not tonight, it would be great to just go and set up a first date like in the next couple of days. Maybe not the next day if she's going to have a booming hangover, maybe the day after that, but like talk about, hey, let's meet up on this day, let's do this, and secure the date so that it's going to happen. She's at least verbally agreed to that. If she's, if things are going really well on that night, but she's had way too much to drink, so yeah, just at your own risk, really.
Yeah, there's this idea that sleeping with a drunk girl is taking advantage of her. It could be in some situations. Bear in mind, a lot of girls will go out drinking with that as their end goal. I mean, but back when I was a boy, my friends are a lot better with women than me, were saying that girl's knocking down shots in front of you. She probably wants to sleep with you. And I'm like, it's like some complete idiot who has no idea about this. So yeah, that's a sign a girl wants to get going. A girl who I had some of the best sex of my life with ever, I used to get a bit annoyed that the second time we were together, she had a few drinks before she came around because she was so scared. I'm like, why are you doing that? But yeah, that she just did it to give herself the courage. Shiva's Swedish girl. Swedish girls like the drinks, just like the Australian mans and the South African mans and the American mans. They like the drinks. Sorry, that's not the world's greatest Swedish accent. We'll do one more question and we'll get back to the good stuff.
Sure. Okay, so Stevie's asking, how do these secrets reduce approach anxiety and fear of rejection?
If you are good at open-ended questions, which is basically the first thing Tess will work on with you, I think you have to ask Tess, but usually it's in the top three. If you're confident asking good open-ended questions and you get better at listening, which why would I pay to learn to listen? That sounds stupid because most guys can't. If you just do those two things right, you're so much more confident approaching. Like my biggest approach anxiety, hand on heart, no bullshit, is that I'll approach a girl, then I'll get closer and decide I'm not attracted to her. Then I'll have to sort of excuse myself, which is really not very nice because my eyesight's not that great at my age. I don't need to wear glasses during the day. So often I'll approach a girl with a great body, and I realize, I'm not really interested in you. Then I have to sort of politely excuse myself. If you're good at asking questions, if you're good at asking good open-ended questions, so much approach anxiety goes away. Getting much more confident sexually can help reduce approach anxiety. And getting better at reading signals. That's like the fourth thing Tess works on with you on Zoom is what it would be. You're good at questions. You get the style right. You get the date plan right. We start sending you to some specific speed dating events to really work on all the above. Then we teach you a lot about reading signals. Then we teach you a lot about sex. That's basically part of the process we go through to onboard guys. And if you do all this stuff, your approach anxiety goes from, I'd rather play Russian roulette. I'd rather do anything. I'd rather get root canal work rather than approach a girl. We had a guy from Elite Riot Squad, decorated police officer, for his work on some riots. And he came on the boot camp and he said, I'd rather get shot than approach that girl in the bar. And then I go, are you for real? He goes, oh, yeah, shot in the leg. He would really rather get a gunshot wound to his leg than go approach a girl. So yeah, when you have those things, what did I say? Good open-ended questions, your style reviewed and made suitable for you, killer date plan. What else to say? Read signals. Yeah, if you get all that, and then a bit more sexual confidence, because if you do actually succeed in your approach, you're not going to be a complete loser. Then yeah, so much of your anxiety will go away. I think with all these views we got later, it's 5,100 in the last 2 videos. We've had 3 bookings tomorrow, which hasn't happened for a while. So yeah, if anyone wants that date with Tess, whether live now or on the replay, just jump in. There should be a link somewhere there. And also, if we continue to blow up like this and grow, our whole pricing and everything might change quite considerably, because it's sort of pretty crazy at the moment what we're charging in terms of very low relative to what we could charge. Anyway, where are we up to? Touch her often. Touch her often. I think I said this before, but you have erogenous zones on the head of your penis, the shaft of your penis, your scrotum, probably your anus, and maybe your neck. That's about it. The rest of your body is the Sahara Desert. A woman's entire body is just this smorgasbord of pleasure. I mean, like there, behind their legs, the small of their back, the crease in their butt cheeks, parts of their feet, all over their fucking neck. Their neck's more sensitive than pretty much any part of our body. Obviously, the obvious ones like the inside of her thighs, and obviously the private parts, the breasts, the nipples, the inside her arms. It's a never-ending smorgasbord of pleasure, women. So one of the things that really confident men do is they're constantly touching women in non sexual ways. So when she crosses the road, you just touch her on the small of the back. One of the things I build into my date plan, we'll do this with you guys if you do a date plan with us. I'd go to a certain cafe. This is my date plan in New York. Would get a cup of tea there, and I'd meet the staff and talk to them. Then as soon as I left the cafe and walked across this, whatever, 4 lanes of traffic with the traffic light, I'd grab her hand as soon as we started walking and lead her across the thing. Now, some of the girls sort of went, oh, what are you taking my hand for? Because I did it so quickly. But yeah, a lot of them just sort of held it and sort of got excited. So you want to be touching her often. You want to be touching her skillfully. But you don't want to be doing this sexually. You just want to constantly be creating this energy connection between you and her, and just let her know how confident a man you are. Now, you need to actually have the skills to touch her confidently before you can do it. And we had an extreme case where one of my favorite clients I've taken on in a while, he did private training on the Thursday of the boot camp. They did the boot camp. He fucking killed it. He absolutely killed it, like approach coach potential. But even late on the Sunday after all this training, he's still too grubby and awkward when he's touching the girl. So yeah, it takes a bit of practice and skill to do it properly. Because if you don't know how to touch a girl, don't lay a freaking hand on her in 2026, post the old Harvey Weinstein woke nonsense. Tess, do you want to talk more about how guys who touch are guys you want to touch?
Absolutely, yeah. A guy who touches confidently and skillfully, that's really important. It's just it's a level of comfort, and it really, you want more of it. You know, when a guy touches you skillfully, it feels really good. And when he's confident in doing that, yeah, as I said, you just want more of it. So there's a big difference between a guy who touches not skillfully and like keeps trying to touch you and not and he's not picking up that you're not receiving it well. So it's really important, guys, if you're like, cool, touch her more often and you want to try this on your dates, you have to be like, it's really great if you can come to a boot camp and get like a lot of feedback and really hone these skills in. But if you want to go out and do this on your own, just be aware that you have to be reading her signals. You have to read whether she's receiving that well. And the biggest thing is, like, don't be tentative, because when you go and you're tentative and you're weird about touching, she's not going to receive that well. Like, you have to be quite smooth, but discerning with your movements. You know, you have to know what you're doing. You've got to land there. And don't, you don't have to hold it for too long. Just make connection and then pull away. It's about showing that you're really comfortable being in her personal space, right? And it's in a non-sexual way. But if you're comfortable being in her personal space, touching her on the small of the back or taking her hand, leading her somewhere, that sort of thing, it shows a lot about your general level of confidence. It shows a lot about your willingness, and you're taking the initiative to be in her personal space and be comfortable with that. And all of that kind of denotes how confident you're going to be intimately in general as well. So yeah, confident, skillful touch is a game changer. Game changer, absolutely.
It's absolute crack to a woman. It shows you how bad we are at the old YouTube. I gave away an amazing piece of training for free to you guys. You'll see the beautiful Monique and Natalia in the video, two of my very best senior coaches. And only 2,500 people watched it. I can't believe it after all the work we put into that video. It's so good. It's so good. It's not as good as doing a boot camp, but it's the next best thing. So you might want to check that video out and go, thanks, James. That was a ripper, mate. That would be really nice. But yeah, seriously, that video would change your life in combination with what we've given you tonight. Do you want to do a couple more questions?
Yeah, sure. Also, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video. All of that stuff really, really helps us. If you're new here, like, subscribe. Yeah, if you like this content, so we can keep giving you more and more of this.
You
Okay.
see how, sorry, Tess, you see how bad I am at YouTube? I'm meant to say that in the first 10 minutes. Like, subscribe, and ring that freaking bell. But a big one to help us out is if you can save it and share it. Share it with your mum, share it with your dad, share it with your granny, share it with your friends who are looking for women, share it with your sister, share it with your dog, share it with your quokka, if you're a West Australian, share it with your hedgehog, just anything. Just share, share, share. And the old YouTube will like us more because people are sharing it. So it must be good. On that subject, I might just give you guys, this actually got a lot of attention when we did this before. I kind of swiped this idea from tonight from someone who's a lot better at YouTube than me. And I looked at her points for what you should secretly say. Okay. So someone who's a lot better at YouTube than me in the dating space, she had something similar, like what women secretly want men to do but never say. Now, she may have had some good stuff in there, but she had this. Firstly, she missed the most incredible hack of all, which was the street side one that we talked about earlier. I can't believe she didn't have that in there. I can't believe how many dating coaches don't know this thing. Again, I had my own success, and I've been surrounded by Tess, Natalia, Monique, Val, Kota, Alex, Nevena, like models, Lizu, for like 20 years now, watching guys approach them, watching guys fuck up, taking the girls out on boot camps and having them involved in the approaching, and then just tearing apart everything guys do. And the few guys who are good, they gave us feedback. The many guys who are bad, they gave us feedback. So what I know about dating, which is that basically the consensus view of 50 tests from my coaches, plus my own whatever, the models and the beautiful girls. It's not just models. It's like so many girls with master's degrees or honors degrees who are beautiful or close to beautiful. Some of them model beautiful, they never had any intention of being modeling. Plus, I've learned from some absolute killer dudes I met traveling around the world for 7 years who would destroy any dating coach I've ever come across with women, including this one. These guys were like lethal weapons on a scale you can't fathom. Anyway, so what I'm saying is so much of the advice on YouTube is bad, and you'll follow some people because they're marketers or YouTubers, and they'll give you like a video with like 10 things, and like 4 or 5 of them might be good. They might be similar to what I'm doing, and then 2 or 3 are like, you just plagiarizing the pickup artists. Don't do that. Then there might be 1 or 2 that are really, really bad. And I see that all the time, particularly the people who are the best at marketing and the best at YouTube often are not the best at being actual dating coaches. Just like a lot of the people who get the most attention for giving health advice, I know some of them are just terrible. Just whatever they say, you almost want to do the opposite, even if they are Stanford educated doctors. So anyway, what I was saying is this YouTuber says women will love it if you're the first to say, I love you. Now, that may be true, but what do you think the next step is? They walk all over you like a tramp and you end up in the family court soon. You've taken away all the fun. All these movies and romance novels are about women catching the player who everyone wants, and she's the girl who gets him all to herself. And just when she thinks she's, about 6 months from winning, you fuck up her chase and go, I love you. No, it's like if you really like a girl and she just throws herself at you like an SLUT, you're like, oh, I don't like you much anymore. If a woman feels like you're leading it into the path of a deeper relationship, in my view, she downgrades her attraction to you completely. She goes, oh, this guy's too easy. He's not much of a challenge. He's really got me on a pedestal, this guy. Maybe he's not the guy for me. And it's just like, if something's really cheap, you're going, oh, this can't be very, very good. If something's really expensive, you're like, oh, this is going to be really good. It's just like women, when a guy's too easy or a guy wins too easily, it's like, no, I don't want this guy. He's a loser. I thought he was great, but he's just too easy. So that's one of the things she said. The other thing was, a man cooking for a woman. Now, I know this is a way to lubricate sex, but I'm kind of the opinion that it's not a man's job to cook. We might have a debate. Tess, what do you think about guys cooking on dates? I mean, I think if you're,
okay, yeah. Go ahead,
I'll
James.
give my opinion first. If she's clearly your girlfriend, and you make her dinner every now and then, I think that could be sweet, particularly if she's sick or something, or maybe it's her birthday or something like that. But if you're doing it as part of the initial courtship process, I think you're a fucking loser. Men don't fucking chop up vegetables and cook. They fucking go do things. They build companies. They solve problems. They make shit happen. They're not sitting fucking adding this much sage and this much cardamom. Unless you're a professional, unless you're a celebrity chef, in which case women would take a mess. Sorry?
I was going to say a lot of the most well-known successful chefs in the world are male. So men do like to cook. I love food. I love food. If a guy like cooked me something amazing, that would be the key, not the key to my heart, but I would really appreciate that. I love delicious food. So yeah, I think it's like, cooking a meal for someone is it's a really nice way of showing affection. I think that you're putting in effort for that person. And like, obviously, James, cooking might not be one of your strengths. So for you, that's clearly not something that you would want to do to be trying to, court her. But yeah, if cooking is one of your strengths, guys, and if she's a woman who really enjoys food, like, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, you might not want to be doing it all the time and like going out of your way to cook some like extravagant, crazy meal, but just cook something simple that tastes really good. Yeah.
So if a guy is not a great cook, is it any good to cook? Should he be doing it?
No. If you're not a great cook and you're like, hey, I'll cook a meal for you, and you're like really out of your depths and you're like, you're don't know what you're doing, you don't know, you can't get flavor right, then yeah, just stick to your strength. Maybe just buy some food somewhere and let other people do the cooking. But yeah, if you know that cooking is a strength of yours, absolutely showcase that.
One time, this super high maintenance North Shore girl. If anyone knows Sydney geography, she lived like way past Manly Beach. I can't remember which one, but she's a rich North Shore girl. And she wanted to have a date in the city. I go, I'm not having a date in the city. And she goes, okay, I'll come to Bondi on one condition. I said, what's that? She goes, if you make some food for me. And I'm like, oh, I can't. And she goes, and anyway, I don't know. She'd already conceded so much because she was at work and stuff. So, okay, I'll do that. So I got another one of my girlfriends to make the food. And there's these beautiful salads that have been wrapped up because the other girlfriend was hoping she'd get a threesome out of it. I'd talk this other girl up. There's beautiful salads that have been all carefully wrapped up and that had a woman's touch all over the salad. This girl is quite smart. She interrogates me, what's in the salad? Because I didn't make it. And then she goes, did you actually make that yourself? I went, no. But I still got to bang her anyway. So I'm not that date, but on another one. So yeah. you give a girl this beautiful salad with all organic ingredients, and she cross-examines me on exactly what I put in it. So yeah. Anyway, that's this is this kind of stuff that used to happen to me a lot. So anyway, should a guy make you dinner before sex or like really, really early on?
No, not like, again, if you don't know how to cook, then no, definitely not. And not necessarily before you've had sex either. If you've been dating for a little while and it's kind of like you're having the at-home date is really comfortable, where it's like, come over to my house, we'll just do nothing, watch a movie or something and eat food. Cool, cook dinner for her if that's if you know how to cook. Yeah.
I might just push back in another way, because one of the things, I'm actually a professional dating coach. And I've studied thousands of guys and run that study through dozens of Tesses, like models, many of whom have degrees or multiple degrees, who most guys would kill for. And one of the core things a lot of successful guys, a friend of mine used to do this all the time. He was like a pretty big time Australian DJ who became a record producer for one of the world's top dance labels. And he used to meet girls, and you know, the guy's an incredible networker, and he used to sweep girls off their feet with this and that, and we're going to this party, and I've got the best table at this restaurant, and we're going to opening of this new club or restaurant, and then we've got front row tickets for this. And like the first 2 or 3 months a girl was with this guy, she's like, who is this guy? Am I going to go to the White House or whatever? What's happening next? But then he'd get back to his life, and he'd, you know, bang the girl a bunch of times, have a few weekends away. He'd get back to his life and it'd just be another girlfriend, and he's more focused on, you know, his mission, doing what he wants to do. And then the girls would so often get really nasty on him. And I knew he does this. And I went, man, you're sweeping these girls who probably liked you anyway, because you tick a lot of boxes. You're just doing everything in your power to sweep the girl madly off her feet. You're doing far more than you need to win the point. Then you get back to day-to-day life, and then you're doing nothing for her. And he goes, yeah, what's wrong with that? I'm like, well, it's sort of misleading and deceptive conduct. She thinks every night, every weekend, you're going to have the owner of some expensive restaurant come out with roses for her and drive around in limousines and stuff. She thinks she's going to live like a celebrity, when that's just what you did at the start. So guys have all these dumb ideas in their head about how you seduce women. One of the biggest ones is doing much more than you need to win the point. But you're also being misleading and deceptive to the girls. For me, or for many of you guys, if you don't particularly like cooking, or like I can cook because I like healthy food, but I can only do like 2 things. I don't even really do them that well. I make them how I like them. I don't do a little girl shit and decorate them with stuff. So if I was to cook a girl food in order to get her back to my place to try to expedite sex because I don't have a decent date plan, it's like you're setting up this idea that you're going to cook dinner for her every now and then. I'm not cooking dinner for a girl. Why would I ever do that? So yeah, you don't want to do stuff, in my view, that's misleading and deceptive. So Tess, what do you think about say I love you first? I think that's just stupid. I think that's like a girl wanting to sweep at some rich man off her feet, and she starts by blowing him when she meets him. I mean, he's probably not going to go to the altar with her and have kids with her if within 20 words of meeting him he's getting a blowjob. He might really appreciate the blowjob in public, but it's not going to be girlfriend material. Equally, I think if you're saying I love you before she says I love you, I think you're just setting yourself up as a loser.
I think, yeah, it's really contextual. Like timing is really important. If you've been dating for like, I don't know, months, and it's quite clear that you're like in love, or you can tell she loves you, but you haven't gotten to that, you know, you haven't exchanged the words or whatever, then yeah, potentially if you say it first, but you're like 100% sure that she wants to say it to you and just she's waiting for you to, or something like that, then potentially that could be, she could really appreciate it then. But if you say it first and it's too early and she's like not sure whether she loves you or not, that is not good. That is not good at all. So yeah, I would say only say it if you're 100% sure that she loves you and that she really would love to hear you say that, you know. Yeah, so, you know, just wait until you're, you know, and wait until the stage where she's potentially already said it to you or where, you know, you're like, why hasn't she said it to me? It's so obvious that she's in love with me. Then she might appreciate it if you say it first, but only then.
Yeah, I just think it's so bad. It's not understanding proper gender roles. The man's job is to lead sex. It's the woman's job to lead the relationship. And if you start breaking these rules, I think you're just going against the laws of nature, and you're making yourself seem needy and easier and not that great a prize. Excuse me. And as Tess capably added, the girl might be on her way to loving you, but she's just not sure yet. And that's, oh, there's too much pressure on this. And then a girl who might love you in 3 months, she bails and dumps you because you've put her under pressure too long, and then you've made yourself seem not as desirable as you would have been. Again, people see things that are expensive and they assume they're good quality. People see things that are cheap, then they assume they're shit. People see bars or restaurants that are hard to get into, they assume they're good. Women see guys who are easy or saying I love you first, they think they're not very good. It's just the way humans are. It's not right 100% of the time. The best food I've found in Sydney City, I ate a week ago, cost me $34 for like 2 meals. And I went out that evening and probably spent like $100 for shit. It was on the water at whatever you call it. Where's the Crown Casino again? Anyway, I can't remember.
Darling Harbour, yeah.
Sorry? Near Darling Harbour. It was Barangaroo. It was a Barangaroo Indian restaurant. It was shit. But then I went to this absolute dive that wasn't very nice to sit in. I'm just filled full of life. Sometimes, people's, shortcuts, like something's expensive, it's good. There's a big line outside that bar. It's going to be good. There's going to be beautiful people in there. Anyway, that was some, I thought, terrible dating advice from a big YouTuber. It's particularly I love you first. I think that's insane. The AI, when I searched this, it was saying, don't text her. Give her a 3-minute phone call just to let her hear your voice. It's a high status move in a low effort digital world. Bullshit. How do you call a girl and keep her on the phone for 3 minutes at the start of a relationship? That's impossible. She'll never shut up. You can't have sex with a girl over the phone, at least not when I was a boy. You youngsters might be able to do it, but not me. It's just a waste of time. You save all contact with her for when it's face to face. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if you're trying to make out. Women want high status, busy guys who've got a lot going on in their world, not guys, just checking in to see how your day is, honey. She's going to be walking all over you like sticking big black dildos up your backside if you're going to continue that way. You're just setting up to be grossly taken advantage of, which is what is the case for so many guys. That's AI dating advice. Delayed gratification. Don't rush the physical side. Being the one who breaks the pace shows immense self-control. It shows you're a scaredy cat loser who puts her on a pedestal. I don't know who the fuck came up with this. I mean, you're not trying to fuck her in the first 2 minutes, but a man who delays gratification, he's a wimp. That's insane. I don't even know where they come with. Scent mastery, a signature high-end cologne. Smell is the most direct part of the female limbic system. I know so many girls who are allergic to that shit. It blocks your natural immune markers. Tess, who's a former model, fucking hates it. So does Natalia. Do you want to give some thoughts on have a good cologne?
Oh, there's nothing worse than a guy wearing strong cologne. Like, oh my God. It's just, again, it's like trying really hard. It's like, oh, I want to make myself smell really good. And so often it's like, I don't know, I get headaches from a lot of the toxins and stuff that are in colognes and aftershaves and deodorants and stuff. It's like I can just smell the chemicals and it's really horrible. It's just so risky, guys. Like, honestly, it's like, is the woman going to like this thing? I don't think women are ever like really turned on by a smell. It's much more about the body language, the confidence, the connection, the way you present yourself. It's like, I think that women have, I think it's true that humans and women link emotions to smells, but she has to link the fact that she likes you first to that smell. It's not the smell that's going to make her like you, right? So the best smell you can have is no smell, or just like, cleanliness, clean. Just these horrible toxin-filled fragrances, they're not doing you any good. I promise you that.
Yeah, and even if it's a girl who likes the fragrances, they're generally the very unsophisticated type of women who like them. bogans, we call them in Australia. I think you call them rednecks or chavs in different parts of the world. Even if you get a girl who's into that shit, she might not like the one you pick. Oh, it's crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, the amount of margins in those products is insane. And there's a lot of belief that I know I've heard, this is hearsay, that Hugo Boss had to withdraw a fragrance because it was huge evidence that they were causing cancer. And they're not from French flowers, they're just from chemicals designed in a lab. Okay, listen, the number one hack, we talk about this often because it's so important. No one listens to beautiful girls. If you can just listen and ask good questions, you've flown past guys way hotter than you. A lot of guys think they're good listeners, but they're not. Listening is probably one of the most underrated human skills you can ever have in dating, in relationships, in business, in sales. And dating and picking up girls is simply the oldest form of sales. Tess, as a beautiful woman, do you want to give your 2 cents about guys, hot guys, desirable guys who go on dates with you and just crap on about themselves and never listen, and whatever you want to say on the subject?
Well, yeah, it's really, really common on like guys who don't know how to listen. Like they're too caught up with, I don't know, they're nervous, I don't know, about how you look or whatever, or they're just too insecure and they start talking about themselves. A guy who can be really present with you and focus on you and actually take in the words that you're saying, and engage with those. It's like full attention. It's honestly like the biggest compliment you can give in terms of like body language and attention, just being really present with a woman and listening. Listen, you'll stand out beyond like 95% of men if you can just listen, ask really good questions and listen to what she's saying. Like you have no idea how bad the average guy is at listening. It's terrible. And that's really the backbone for good conversation, listening and good, like open-ended questions. But it's really hard to ask good open-ended questions when you haven't been listening to her. So listening is like the number one most important thing.
Yeah, you guys are all concerned about approach anxiety or running out of things to say. You got to have good skills for open-ended questions, and it's good to have a proper structure you can follow. But one of the biggest inputs is just being able to listen really well. We say this constantly, and you guys probably get bored, but hopefully, if you hear something enough, it'll finally smash through and you'll actually apply it. Again, the best way to practice your listening skills is to book a date with Tess. There's a link below, and she'll get your listening skills into order quickly. And if you want to come to one of our boot camps and you don't listen well enough, you can have Tess or Natalia strike you with a horse riding crop or a paddle if you don't listen well enough. Natalia really gets into it. She's an ex-pro volleyball player, so it's like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening. I can't do a Russian accent now. You're not listening to me, silly Australian mans. You don't get Russian girl. No Russian girl for you. You learn to listen. La, 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 la. Okay, what's next? Okay, we talked earlier about walking on the street side, which is absurdly powerful. Some other killer ones, even when everyone's got a little thing they click to get into their car. If you click the thing and then you open the door for her, wait till she gets in and shut it, it seems like an irrelevancy in today's world. It really seems like an irrelevancy, but it means so much to women. It just means so much to women. Let her go. If there's an elevator, let her get out the elevator before you. I was in a group mastermind, was a small number of fairly attractive girls. And unless I was so busy it wasn't funny and there's just one or two people in the elevator, I'd always hold the door and let the girls go out first. The goodwill, the sexual attraction that brought me was out of control. If it's cold, just get her coat. Just she sits down at a cafe or something, just take her coat off for her. You could get her a chair for her. I think there's an argument that could be too much in the modern English-speaking woke world. But yeah, it's something you might want to experiment. I think if you do go to get the girl, I mean, some girls think, what are you trying to grab my fucking boobs or something? Because they're so foreign for a Western man to be any sort of a gentleman. But yeah, as I said before, you want to be an English gentleman in public. You want to be an 8-year-old kid in a sugar high in private, like so much fun, so excited, like Steve Irwin style energy. And then you want to be the master of the fucking universe in the bedroom. So yeah, do that gentleman stuff. Side of the road, open car doors, always let her go through things first. Get her coat, potentially get her chair. Just massive attraction from the hottest girls. Tess, you want to talk about being a gentleman?
Yeah, absolutely. I really agree with this. Again, it relates to the point, the sidewalk point. It's just that attentiveness, showing respect and care that women really, really appreciate. I think getting her coat, I do agree, James, that could be pushing it a little bit. It's the same thing as never touch a woman's handbag. Like, never touch a woman's handbag. It's very personal. She's like, why are you touching my handbag? If you would try to touch that, sometimes with the coat, it might be the same thing. It's like, just like, it's my thing, don't try to take off my clothing. So that one might be a little bit sensitive. But yeah, opening a door for her, that sort of thing, like leading her, showing her the way. Opening a car door for her is quite, that's quite extravagant as well. Like, these things can all, like, if you feel like, no, that would be putting her on a pedestal, like doing too much of this stuff. It depends how you do it. Like, if you do it and you make it fun or whatever, and it's casual, and then that's not putting her on a pedestal. It's just like, I'm doing this nice thing for you. It's just, yeah, you're not making a big deal of it. You know what I mean? So you have to do it casually. Absolutely. No, it can make a really big impact. It just, makes her feel valued.
So you weren't big on the coat thing, were you, Tess?
I think the coat thing can be sensitive, and especially in particular with some cultures, etc. Like, I think the one thing is, because it is so rare in today's day and age, that it might feel forced. Like, it's too rare, that she's kind of like, oh, what are you doing? Which might be, it's a little bit more risky, I think. Whereas the other ones are, I can't imagine there being any issues whatsoever.
So getting a chair must be a big no-no from you.
Getting a chair, well, the thing is,
like, she's about to sit down somewhere and you get the chair and you help her in.
Potentially. That's also, like, quite a hard thing to do. Like, if you haven't practiced that, it can be really awkward. So yes, if you know how to do that, do that. But at the same time, you should ideally be sitting next to her, not like across a table from her, where you like get the chair or whatever. So if she's about to sit down next to you and you help her move her chair in, of course, it has to be smooth though. It can't be clunky and awkward. That can be a good thing to do if she's near you and it's like a convenient thing to do. I think, again, this is something you really want to avoid, sitting across a table from her. But if she's sitting across a table from you, don't do that. And if there's like a booth seat, let's say, and you have to sit at that table, let her sit on the booth seat so you don't have to push her chair in. Let her take the comfortable seat. And you can sit on the other side.
I'm sorry, I would push back against that completely. I would always take the power position in any situation dating, because women will feel that and they'll be more attracted to me. Okay, feelings and emotions.
The power position is in you're on the wall.
Yeah. Feelings and emotion questions. They can be very simple. It can be just like, oh, tell me what you loved about that. Tell me your favorite thing about this. What was so special about that? What got you into that? Whereas some of the cliched examples is one of my female coaches, the redhead you can see on the YouTube channel, Monique. She was learning to ride a bike as an adult. And this guy asked her, "Oh, so what diameter is your front wheel?" And she's like, and then Tess, a lot of guys you've been working with, and it comes out you're a surfer, and they go, "Oh, so how big's your board? Or how big are your boards? How tall are your boards?" So guys, particularly the engineers and the smart guys, who are obsessed by facts and data and numbers and stuff like that. Women aren't. They just don't know. They don't care. Just to give you an idea how different men and women are, Tessa's best friend, or close to a best friend, I know her too. And I go, "Oh, what does Katie do for work?" And Tess goes, "I don't know, some corporate thing." She had no fucking clue what her friend did for work. Can you imagine your best male friend, and you talk about them, you hold them so highly in your esteem, you think they're lovely, they're wonderful. What's he do for work? I don't fucking know. He has a job, something. I think it involves business. Of course not. You know in graphic detail probably what your friend does, because that's what you spend most of your time talking about. Tess didn't have a fucking clue. And that's not, I'm not saying Tess is in any way weird. Women are so different to men, but you can't say that. Otherwise, you're a misogynist. They're so fucking different to men. And the questions most of you guys ask on dates, it's just like you're putting the girl to sleep. That's why some questions earlier on about, oh, if I apply these 11 things, is it really going to move the needle for a guy who's like 55 and hasn't had many dates lately? Yeah, it'll completely change everything. Just ask better questions and touch and have a date plan. You've destroyed 98% of the male population in America and Australia. It really is that simple. It really is that simple. Now, you got to do these things at some sort of adequate level, but it's just not that hard. It's so simple, it's not funny, simply because nearly every guy is checked out of the game. And apparently AI researchers in Japan have come up with the AI tongue that can replicate a human tongue. So Elon Musk will be plugging them into Optimus and then putting all the whorehouses around the world out of business when he has the Optimus whore bot with the Japanese AI tongue. So yeah, it's anyway. So the actual human females, it's going to get easier and easier and easier, because most guys are just going to go the Optimus, because it won't be like, oh, we'll learn women's tests or learn to love the taste of dick. It'll be learn about women's tests or learn to love the taste of dick, or get yourself a new, I can become an affiliate for Optimus. If you don't want to get an actual human partner, which we're going to help you with, you can get one of the Elon Musk Optimus sex bots with a Japanese AI tongue and the special soft human-like skin, and you don't need to worry about all these complicated women. You can just get an AI Optimist, and yeah, and you won't even need sexual skill, because you can just set a knob and she'll come as loud as you want and won't complain about a thing. Anyway, back to getting you human girls. But yeah, Elon, if you want an affiliate for your Optimus sex bot, just look me up.
Okay, so yeah, feelings and emotions questions.
That's just doing a polite laugh. That's not actually a serious laugh. She's laughing at me, or she's just being polite, not with me. Anyway, I thought it was slightly amusing, given the PayPal guys copied what the porn guys were doing.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there was a large percentage of guys who would go for that, but it's just a really worrying thought. So yeah, I don't want to think about it too much. But yeah, so yeah, no, feelings and emotions questions, guys. Coming back to that, women, we're very emotions based. So you know, when you're asking questions that get us to open up to you and be emotive, and you know, it makes us invest, and you really get to see us. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about. Sorry, James, you're giggling. It's putting me off.
Because if you want to get better at reading the body language, look at the way Tess reacts to certain things I say. You can. One of her favorites is she'll sit like this. Well, I'm crapping on about Optimus, Elon Musk sex Optimus bots with their Japanese AI tongues. Apparently, the Japanese AI sex dolls, they're like serious technology. Anyway, let's get back to serious shit.
No, that's okay.
Obviously, human girlfriends, not AI girlfriends.
need to work on my poker face. I'll do that. But yeah, so yeah, feelings and emotions questions, like I said, open-ended questions, feelings and emotions questions that get the woman invested. Women love talking about their emotions. It's all we talk about when we're together. If you see two women talking with each other, like all we talk about is relationships, how we felt about certain things, our opinions on different things. Like that's all we talk about. Like James said, we don't really care about what we do for work, etc. So like unless we're really passionate about what we do. But the reason I didn't know what one of my best friends was doing at that time was because she wasn't passionate about that work. Neither was I. I knew it was just a fill-in job, and I was like, I don't know, she's doing something corporate. So yeah, my friends who have jobs that they're really passionate about, I do know about, because that's more about their personality and it's about the way they feel, and that's how we connect. So this is about tapping into the way women think and how we like to communicate. Feelings and emotions questions are really the key to that. So a feelings and emotions question doesn't necessarily have to be like, how does it feel when you do this? It doesn't have to be that like obvious. Even a question like, oh, what was that like? Or oh, how did that what did you think about that? That they're feelings and emotions questions. Like, what was the best thing about that? So just keep it simple. You don't have to force it, but whenever you're trying to elicit like an emotive response, that's really good. When you see she's getting into her emotions when she's answering your questions, that's a great sign. So that's really good. Cool. So that's our 11 points. I'm going to quickly jump into a couple of questions until James gets back, and then we'll cycle through 1 to 11 for you guys who have just joined us. Say hello if you've just joined us. Welcome. And we're up to point 11. So at the end of all of our points for tonight, we still have some questions to get through. James, do you want to quickly go through 1 to 11 for the guys, or do you want to get back to some questions now?
That's a great idea. Something I wanted to say. We'll do this, and then we'll get back to it. Okay. Things women wish you would do, but they don't tell you, particularly older guys, younger women. Sweep her off her feet technique. Plan the date. Know exactly what you're going to do. Have whatever, this cafe, this little walk, past this nature or this cool place, down to a place where you can start to escalate a bit, and then sort of near your bedroom in case things get hot and bothered, which is what you're trying to engineer. Hugs are so freaking powerful. Hugs are like a they're like the ultimate sexual escalation tool. I mean, all these guys are asking me, should you talk about sex on a date? Just fucking hug her. Stop doing stupid shit. Don't do more than you need to the point. You don't need to start talking about some kinky thing. Just hug her. They're the ultimate sexual escalation tool, and they're the ultimate get out of free jail card. The number of times fair few times, I've admitted that I'm to a girl that she's not the only girl I'm sleeping with. And then I end up hugging her, and she starts to feel all better. And a couple of girls go, "What the hell are you doing? You're sleeping with other girls. Don't hug me." And then you hug them some more, and then they calm down a bit. Like hugs can get you out when they're being all narky and venting and throwing all these tests at you. Just shut up and give her a hug. 9 times out of 10, that's sometimes the best strategy. Like when she's picking stupid arguments with her, just give her a hug. Pass her test. That's 101. It's to get girls, to get the hottest girls, to get models, to get threesomes, whatever you want. The number one sticking point you have a certain level is passing her tests. And also, you just cannot have a relationship with a Western woman if you don't understand her games and manipulations in 2026. It's going to end in tragedy these days with all the nonsense in the world. You want to spotlight their strengths. Pretty much every girl I've been with who I didn't deserve, I thought was really intelligent. She was often a big reader. Some of them had traveled very well. Many of them had honors degrees or master's degrees in something I was interested in. Many of them were quite accomplished. I spoke very little about their beauty, but a lot about how smart she was, or how interested I was in architecture or urban planning or whatever. I dated a girl who was a periodontist. I sat listening to the little tiny thing of skin. Yeah, spotlight on her strengths. Sidewalk Secret, this is the #1 most powerful thing. This is feedback I got from a model I've used on a model I dated. I've used on a bunch of girls since, and it is insane. You walk on the street side, protecting her from, the horse shit. It's old school manners, but the hottest girls I've been with have all, many of them complimented me on it. And the ones who didn't actually compliment me physically, the way they looked, the way when I would say we were walking here on the left side and we cross over and walk on the right. And what I would do is I would move her across with my hand and push her with my other hand. And it's just like, okay. And I just move her across like that. And then the way they'd look at me was like one of the biggest compliments I could ever imagine. It was like I pulled out like a 8.5-inch big black fella. No, I'm just making a joke. A lot of girls can't handle a big black 8.5-inch big thick Coke bottle thick black fella. Get her talking. That's one of the killer secrets. Just get a girl talking about stuff that makes her heart sing and listen, which we'll get to in a second. Look the part. Nearly every guy in America, Australia, Canada, England, Western Europe to a lesser extent, but still a big deal. You dress like shit. You've got no idea what you're doing. The stylish ones are often the worst. We know because, we do hundreds of guys, proper style consults where they send us their wardrobe every year. At least we were pre-COVID. We're doing a bunch now. Touch her often, but you got to touch her skillfully. There's a whole bunch of skill to touching. I linked a video in the comments. I'll try to do that when the video goes live. Best thing is to do a boot camp. You'll spend 4 days just touching women nonstop. I forgot to give you the dates. I think we've got October something. Where was it? I forgot to put them up. I'll get them to you. There's an August one, and then there's an October boot camp. Where is it? So August 13 to 16 and October 8 to 11. I meant to put it on the screen, but I'm a bit of a twit. Touch her often. So we've also linked a video. I think it's called 3 Secrets How to Touch. It's Natalia and Monique. Monique's a redhead. Natalia's a brunette. It's incredibly valuable video. Women love touch. Men are pretty much indifferent to it unless it's the head of our penis. So when you learn to touch women skillfully, it builds so much attraction. Listening is pretty much, every guy sucks at it, particularly if the girl's beautiful. And if you can just learn to ask good questions and listen, you've flown past everyone else. Have manners. The street side one was the biggest one, but letting girls go through doors first, getting doors for women, all that stuff carries obscene amount of value. And women expect older guys to have learnt a few things in their 20 years older. That in the 20 years you've been on earth longer than her, you've hopefully had some relationship experience, and you've learned a thing or two about the opposite sex. That's probably the biggest reason women date old. A lot of women want to date older guys. It's not the money, it's because they've got relationship experience. The girl doesn't need to train another dipshit young guy how to be a man around women. That's what they hope. They're often sadly disappointed. And finally, ask feelings and emotion questions. Men are obsessed with how many meters is this? How many kilowatts is this? How many gigabytes or terabytes is this? How many dollars is this? Or how many pounds is this? Whereas women are like, oh, what was that like? How did it make you feel? What did you love about that? So this is if you can just apply 3 or 4 of these things, as we say at the start, let alone 5 or 6, this shit is insanely powerful for you. So anyway, hit us with your questions. I think we're giving you guys a lot of incredible value tonight. Stuff that you've had to pay a lot of money for pre-COVID. And if you are getting a lot out of this, which hopefully you are, if you could all that like, subscribe, ring that bell. But please save this. Please, I don't even know how to save it, but please save it. You'll be doing a huge favor, and share it with your mum, your dog, your quokka, your dance coach, your jiu-jitsu coach, whoever you can share it with. We'll do more of these. We'll cut them up into shorts. We'll get Tess making her own videos. I'll make a ton of videos. We'll serve you so much better. We've been coaching for 20 years, up till COVID, about a boot camp a month. And my USP is everything that comes out my mouth is a consensus of a whole bunch of Tesses, models often with 2 or 3 degrees. And the method we teach is just filtered through these 50-odd women, plus the girls I dated previously. Okay, let's go on to questions. So save it and share it and do all the like, subscribe stuff. And we'll love you and we'll give you the best dating coaching techniques on the planet.
Awesome. All right, so we got a bunch of questions to get through. So I think this one here from MJ Hundy, who says, "Hey, beautiful." Oh, and hello, Tess. Good on you, Michael. I think this is Michael. I like that. We've obviously earlier in the night said that don't make it about her beauty. So that's great. Not making it about my beauty. Also, or he thinks you're beautiful, James. So that's nice too. Let's move on. Oh, here we go. So from Landon, James and Tess, I am trying to line up a first date. She says, I'm only free Saturday evening or Thursday lunchtime. I can do either. Would appreciate your opinion on what option I should take. Saturday evening or Thursday lunchtime. I think that if you want things to progress to sex, nighttime is traditionally easier for that sort of thing. Yeah, especially on a Saturday, considering Sunday would be a day off, so she'd much more likely, be there to like let her hair down, etc. If it's Thursday lunch, it's like, okay, well, she's still got a day of work on Friday. It's daytime. Yeah.
James? I'm not necessarily disagreeing with Tess, but depending on your experience level, if you can make both, if you're not that confident, I think you asked a question about how do I get more confident. I might take the Thursday lunchtime and just do like a 45-minute one, and then try to pitch for sex on the Sunday. Everything Tess said is right. There's a bit of nuance to it about, unless you're really confident, and if she lives in the same city as you, it might be pretty hard to go straight to sex on the first date for some guys, not for really confident guys. But yeah, if you do the short, sharp date in the middle of the day and then try to close for sex on the Saturday, that might work well. Next question, please.
Okay, MJ Hundy says, I'm not intimidated by attractive women and can speak with them, but I have the physicality of King Henry VIII and Ralph Wiggum combined. Getting in shape, should I hold off until that's done?
If you give us specifics like what's your fighting weight and how big are you? If you're just a little bit overweight or you got a gut, and particularly if you're over 40, women don't give a flying fuck. We did a female trainer panel of my model coaches at a recent student event, and they all basically thought like muscly gym junkie guys were repulsive. It's like you sit and you do sit up after sit up to work on your abs. What do you do for what do you do for a living? Sit-ups? I'm not interested in you. I want men who's building career, building business. They just thought it was repulsive. Another one of them talked about how she's been on dates with guys who take packs of, they pack extra protein when they go to dinner. Everywhere they go, they're carrying protein with them. She's like, what are you, a girl who's redoing your makeup every 10 seconds? I know this is so completely contrary to all the wisdom in the dating world. You got to have muscles to get girls. It's just such nonsense. Look at all the greatest sex symbols in history before, say, Schwarzenegger came onto the scene with Conan and Terminator. Most of them were stickmen. The vast majority of them were very, very skinny guys. A lot of them still are. So yeah, if you can give us an idea of how overweight you are, let's say your fighting weight's 80. If you're anything up to 95, I really wouldn't worry about a bit of extra weight from a dating sense, certainly 90, because you can just dress better, and that's something Tess can help you with. And a lot of women, like Monique, who's a catwalk model, she said she prefers guys with a dad bod, simply because if she gets into a relationship with them, she doesn't want to do the catwalk model diet for the rest of time. And a lot of guys who spend all this time at the gym, they think they're attracting women. They might be attracting them temporarily, but they're turning them off because the girl thinks, I don't want to take my fucking jeans off in front of this guy's abs and his shoulders and pecs. I might have been able to do this when I was 20. I can't do this when I'm 32. So yes, so many guys who lift weights and try to get in great shape, you're just actually scaring women away. So if you're morbidly obese, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. If you're having trouble finding your dick in amongst all those rolls of fat, then you might want to deal with weight first. But for most guys who aren't like seriously obese, a lot of the times women don't care if you're confident. I mean, Luciano Pavarotti and Orson Welles in his older years were some of the greatest players that in the history of celebrity, even when they were hugely fat. If we haven't got an answer from the overweight guy, can we go to the next question?
Let me just have a look. No, not right now. Okay, so next question is from History, who says, what is the best way or excuse to move her from the last date location to your house? Many players tell her they want to show her something in the house they talked about and hyped her up about earlier. Okay.
That's a good suggestion. But back when I was in New York, I used to say, "Oh, come see the view from my balcony." And the girl's like, "New York view? Oh, I can't wait to see this." Because if you get any sort of a view in New York, you're automatically rich. So I took her back to my apartment, and it was a ground floor bedroom. And I had a window. I wasn't lying about that. A view from my balcony. And what do they call it? What is it? A French balcony or something? It was a balcony that I couldn't even fit my foot on. If I put my foot on it in a shoe, I couldn't even put the shoe flat. It was one of those little skinny balconies, and you could occasionally see a squirrel sitting there. And then if you came all the way around there and you look out, there was the stump of a tree. And if you came close, you could look down a bit and you could see the big piles of black paper bags with garbage in it. And I said to some girls, "Oh, come see the view from my apartment." So they'd come back thinking, "Oh, God, this guy's going to be a hedge fund manager or something with a view of the park." And I'm like, "No, it's just a tree stump. And if you get it on the right day, there'll be a garbage bag there." And one time I saw a little possum, a squirrel sitting there. And some of the girls would just come and look at the view and go, "Is that the view?" I go, "Yeah." So after that happened 3 or 4 times, one girl came back and said, "Oh, is that the view you were going to show me?" I went, "Yes. What did you expect? Mount Vesuvius erupting, Sydney Harbour Bridge, or Iguazu Falls?" And then she laughed her ass off and fucked me even quicker than the other ones. So yeah, I plagiarized that from one of the greatest British comic actors of all time, called John Cleese, from the show Fawlty Towers. So yeah, what did you expect? Mount Vesuvius erupting? So yeah, just come up with something. I mean, play her a song on your guitar. I used to show my travel photos. When I got really promiscuous, particularly in the time in Bondi Beach, I just had just come, let's go get a cup of tea. And I had this whole smorgasbord of like 20 organic teas, like lemon verbena and dandelion and rooibos. I can't even pronounce some of them. I had every organic tea you can ever really think of. And I made her an organic tea. So you generally, because you don't say, "Hey, do you want to come back to my house and suck my dick for a while?" Because a lot of girls might not want that, even though they do want it. So you got to actually, let's go, come back for a coffee, or come back for a cup of tea, or come see the view from my balcony, or I want to play this song on my guitar, or I don't know, something. Tess, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, those are all good suggestions. I think that, like, inviting her back to your place for whatever the reason, she's not going to come to your house unless she's comfortable being in your place of residence. And that usually means that she'd be comfortable with, leading on to intimacy. If she really doesn't want that to happen, she's not going to go back to your place. Don't assume that it's 100% she comes to your house, it equals sex. Like there's like a little bit of gray area there, but she's if she definitely doesn't want to have sex with you, she's not going to come to your place. So whatever the reason is, if it's something you've spoken about, that's great. Come back, I've got a great view, or there's a cup of tea, or let's listen to some music, whatever it is, that's fine.
Yeah. Just to round the point out, girls might be happy to come back to your place sex is on their mind, potentially something they're very keen for. But us guys are really good at screwing something up, and she changes her mind once she gets back there.
Oh yeah, if she comes to your place and it's like a mess and it smells bad and it's there's no vibe, the lighting's terrible, she might get turned off. So we have some tips to give you about preparing your place for women as well.
Yeah, I want to start doing a date audit with our new clients where you get your phone and you go around the house, and Tess, one of the other female coaches, just tells you all the problems. Tess, you're going to have to do a toilet examination and check for skid marks, because that's the biggest way to make a wet pussy dry. If she sees one of those skid marks, she's like ossified straight away. So we're gonna have to do some toilet bowl examination. Are you okay with that, or does that require?
Yeah. That just reminded me of a traumatic experience I had.
Sorry.
That just reminded me of a traumatic experience I had.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a date, but I'd been out at a festival, and we met up with some friends and went back to their place. We were just hanging out after we'd been at this festival, and they lived in a share house, and with all guys. It was a male share house, and yeah, the place was pretty atrocious. But I went to use the bathroom, and I went into the bathroom, and there was just like not even a skid mark, like number 2 in there, with no toilet paper. And I was just like, and it was just sitting there, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? Someone's just come, done their business, not even flushed, not even wiped. Like, I don't know, maybe they had a shower, I don't know, but I was so traumatized. I came out of there, and I was with the guy I was seeing at the time. I was like, we have to go. Like, we can't stay here long. I'm not comfortable. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Can you explain what that does to the woman's lubrication bits?
Yeah, no, it's not sexy. That's definitely not sexy. Yeah, cleanliness, like, you want the woman to feel comfortable. You know, if it's the first time she's going to your place, she needs to feel like there's a level of comfort. And women are a lot more attuned to mess and clutter and smells, etc. So yeah, just keep your place clean, keep things orderly. Lighting is really, really important. And kitchen and particularly bathroom should be like spotlessly clean. You don't, like, in a way, you don't want it to look like you've had a professional cleaner come in and it's styled like you're about to sell your house, you know. Otherwise she can tell that you've put in way too much effort. But kitchen and bathroom, yes, they should be spotless. Everything else just needs to be generally like orderly.
Nothing dries up a pussy faster than skid marks. You heard it first here on Special Coach Sunday YouTube Live.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving on. Stevie says James and Tess are legends. Thank you so much. And the question
I agree.
Stevie. Thank you. Stevie says, do these work better with younger women or women my own age? Not sure how old you are, Stevie, but I think these skills that we've talked about tonight are pretty, they work with all women. It's not necessarily 100% just for younger women. This is pretty universal, I would say.
It is, but I've designed these and with Tess so that they work on the most beautiful women who are the furthest out of your league and give you a chance with women you otherwise wouldn't be. Because if you can have a shot with them, then the women sort of whatever closer to your age, not as attractive, should be very, very easy. So they work better with both groups, but they're designed more to make, you know, the guy who's say 50 be really attractive to the woman who's 30.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question.
Okay, this is an interesting one from Craig Patterson. Welcome, Craig. Weird question. Pooping. So hypothetically, you sleep with a girl, wake up the next morning, and you need to poop. Do you hold it in, or drive back home, or use her bathroom, or what if you're in your house? So what do you do? What do you do? Need to poo in the morning?
That's a great question. I've actually missed out on sleeping with a model because I desperately needed to poo, and I spent a bit much time in between getting her out of her clothes. And anyway, it was a bit of a disaster. I didn't really like her that much, but I definitely missed out. This is another reason why these big muscly guys are kidding themselves, because you need to poo so much and it takes so long because of all the protein you're eating. So you're going to have moments in a seduction where, you know, a number two does come through. So as like plant-based people who might be a bit skinny and you might think pathetic, who you know aren't the world's greatest heavyweight MMA fighters. Oh God, yeah. I mean, and the other thing is, if you're plant-based, your poos don't smell that much. Whereas if you're chowing down on animal products, you're going to have a bit of a whiff there, boys. So yeah, so this whole muscles thing is overrated, I think. It probably depends how smelly you are. You need to have a time estimate of how quickly you can get it out. You can use the old Japanese girl trick of they've got to do a little so they'll go turn all the taps and shower on while they're doing this to get over the scent. A sneaky trick from players is if you sort of have your little player bag where you got your condoms and maybe some restraints and shit, and you can have a box of matches in there. So yeah, just if you do a bit of a smelly one, you can strike a match and that's going to get rid of most of it quickly. And you can just pretend you're taking a lot of time to brush your teeth. If you've already slept with her, it's not that big a deal. Women are aware that men have to perform bowel movements every now and then. But if it's pre-sex, I would do anything I could to take a dump somewhere else, because I think that could be a serious problem if the flushing mechanism isn't working, like Tess reported. So if she's seen one of your poo-poos, she's probably not sucking your wiener. It's going to be Leonardo DiCaprio level status to still be able to pull that one off. Apparently Gene Simmons, because the guy's had so much pussy, the only thing that really turns him on these days is a bumpkin, which I've done everything I can think of in the sort of sexual fantasy realm, but I can't say I've had a bumpkin. That's where you're a bit backed up from too much protein and too much cocaine and too much late nights touring, and you're finally about to release this backup. And yeah, there's a lovely young groupie fan filleting you on the throne when you're about to do your bumpkin, and then you get the actual penetration of the sphincter lined up with the coming. According to Gene Simmons from Kiss, who slept with thousands of women, that is the absolute pinnacle of sexual pleasure. I'm somewhat skeptical myself, but I haven't done it. So I think Gene's probably slept with a few more girls than me. He's certainly older. He's certainly got a much longer tongue. So yeah. So if it's post-sex and the sex has been good, you can probably do a shit in there. Just be some sort of a gentleman and make sure you deal with the skid marks and any odors. If it's pre-sex, I would come up with plan B.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, trying to have sex with a really, really full bowel can be uncomfortable. So you probably want to have a plan B. But yeah, if it's the next morning, like you've already had sex, and also I think that pooing's normal. It's a normal human bodily function, and I know you guys think that women don't poo, but we do. And I think that if you're just like, you know, like it is what it is. Just it's fine. If you need to do a poo, just do a poo in the morning. Unless you've got like really explosive diarrhea, or like it's really noisy or smells really, really bad, then that might be a problem. But everyone needs to do poos. Yeah, it's worse for women. Okay, like how do you think we deal with it when we need to do a poo? Like women aren't supposed to poo, so yeah.
Especially if they're beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
If the sex wasn't great, you might want to hold it in and just somehow get out of there and do it somewhere else. If she came a few times, you're probably safe to drop a load in her throne.
Yeah.
I might just quickly, while we're talking about sphincter and PC control, I was a virgin till pretty late in life, to put it mildly. And essentially the first girl I ever really slept with properly. I met her after when I met her, I'd gone off to attend a Tony Robbins event, and she was going to fly back to her home country. And she came to meet me at the place I was staying, because I wasn't going to see her again because she was flying out the next day. So she comes around late at night. And if any of you guys have attended a Tony Robbins event, he doesn't give you much time for food. So I would leave at like 5 or 6 and just eat some of the junkiest food I could get in the half-hour break and take it. So I'd done like 4 days of Tony Robbins, and I was a wee bit backed up, which is kind of unusual for me because I'm a healthy chap. So anyway, it's the last time we're ever going to sleep together. I'm essentially a 31-year-old virgin prior to this girl in practical terms. I had time to have sex when I was 28, but that 27, that was terrible. So anyway, one of the things, if you haven't had much luck with girls, you might need to start a bit lower than you like. So this girl was probably like a 4 or a 5. She had some pretty blue eyes, but I can't really think of any other complimentary things to say about her. But yeah, she had sex with me, so she got me started. So anyway, I'm having sex with her. We did sex about 3 times before. Anyway, we got the room. It was the last time I was going to see her, so she wanted to make love. So we do that. Anyway, she supposedly came pretty quickly. I don't know. She could have just been faking it. And then I had to keep going. And I'm like, and yeah, I was using Viagra. I was using condoms. So any of you might know, if you use Viagra and condoms at the same time, it's kind of like sticking your dick into some sort of tree trunk or something. It's not the most arousing experience. So anyway, I'm plowing away, and I'm trying to she's come. It's like 10, 20, 30 minutes later, and I'm still going on Viagra as hard as a rock. But yeah, I'm not really feeling too turned on. And she wasn't a particularly sexual young lady. So once she came, she's just sort of like looking at me like, and I was really backed up, like, and because of all the exercise and movement, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, no, I want you to finish. It's our last time together. You got to finish. I'll feel terrible if you don't. And I'm like, okay. So keep going. And then, eventually a long time later, I start to get a wee bit closer, And I'm like, oh, okay, I might be able to do this. Oh shit. And I realized that I don't have very good sphincter and PC control at the same time, because I'm going like this, and the closer I get to coming, the closer I get to shitting while I'm thrusting on top of her in the missionary position. And I'm like really stressing. I'm like, listen, yeah, I don't need to come. It's okay. I'm really tired. No, you've got to come. I can't live with myself if you don't come. I'm like, I don't know if I can. So anyway, I'm going, and it's like 5 or 6 goes. I'm like, oh, I have to squeeze my butt cheeks together with all my strength just to avoid it. So I'm going. It's like, I've got to nail this thing. It's like, and she's basically stay asleep. She's just like, she just wakes up, because it was really late at night that the Tony Robbins thing finished. By the time we got to sex, and I was probably just pissing in and out of her for an hour trying to figure out how to come. I'm not lying about any of this shit. This is what happens when you're a 31-year-old virgin. You have to start from a position lower than you want. Ugly girl, I can't come inside her. I didn't even know you cut the Viagra tablet in half or something. 400 mgs of this shit. I couldn't even feel my dick. You could have cut the thing off. I wouldn't have even known. So I saw all the blood. So anyway, I'm like, and I'm trying to think of the most erotic thing on the face of the earth, which was not the girl underneath me. She's struggling to fucking stay awake, and I'm and I get it, and I'm so close, but then I have to pull back at last minute. So close. Then I finally get the hang of PC, sphincter, PC, sphincter. So I'm like, oh, I've got it. So I'm squeezing the sphincter as tightly as I can. I'm trying to relax the PC muscle as much as I can. Like, and I finally come, and I let out the greatest fart in the history of humanity. And her face, she sort of fucking wakes up from her sleep and she's like, "Wah!" She looks at me like, what the fuck happened? So it must have increased the power of the thrust like many, many fold. And I managed to come, and I'm just like, and I sort of just casually look around and start feeling before I look. And I'm trying to hold her eye contact and just keep my shit together. I sort of casually look around and then I sort of lift up the sheet just to check, because I really thought I followed through at the end of that big fart. But and then I sort of looked down and I sort of got off her. I didn't kiss her or anything. It was the most unsexual way to finish it. I'm sort of looking around just to check I hadn't fired something across the room. And then eventually, it was the last time I saw this girl. I essentially lost my virginity with her. I owe her everything. She was prepared to sleep with me, which took 100 milligrams of Viagra. Then as soon as I managed to stand up, I'm like, I'm just going to shit myself. So listen, I've really got to go. I think she sort of got the idea that there was some sort of problem there. So I managed to get her out quite quickly. And then I had the greatest shit of my entire life after that. It was just torture. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there. I don't know. Only one person left, so it can't have been that bad. Anyway, back to your sex life. Who thinks I should leave that out of my dating educational programs, my little interesting stories? Can I get some feedback on that story, please? It's funny now looking back years later, but it was a bit awkward then.
Okay. That was a good one, James. I enjoyed it. Okay. No comments coming through. Let's move on to the next question, comment. What have we got here? Okay, question from Landon. Oh, hang on.
Thanks, MJ.
Okay. MJ says, that was the hottest story I've ever heard. Great. I'm glad you're into that stuff. Awesome. All right, let's get back to another question because we're also running out of time tonight. So, a question from, sorry, one second. Oh, here we go. Landon. Great story, James. Thanks. All right, Landon says, hey, Tess, are regular jeans, button shirt, and gym sneakers okay for a first date, 3 p.m.? Thanks. Okay, so first of all, jeans and gym sneakers, no, unless you're Steve Jobs. No, that's like a real dad look. I wouldn't suggest like athletic style shoes to go on a date. Like keep them for athleticism. Yeah, you'd probably want to wear more of like a casual sort of sneaker, casual, smart casual type sneaker, with some jeans that fit you really well, and like the color's important too. Like the darker colors of jeans are a lot more smart casual, sophisticated, sexy, rather than more light colored jeans, which are very casual and also not as flattering to the body. Button-up shirt, yeah, also just has to be fitting well. So yeah, but the jeans and sneakers combo, no, not a good combo.
Yeah, even with cool sneakers, a button-up shirt with cool sneakers would need to see it, but it might not be the best option. People tend to do it these days, but I don't think it's very stylish. I think if you're going to wear a proper button-up shirt, you've got to go to the trouble of wearing proper shoes. Especially I believe Landon's mid-50s, so that's probably the way I'd go there. Next question.
Okay. James says, I can vouch that the street sidewalk walk works. I did that on a first date with my last long-term partner, and it really made an impression on her. She still brought it up favorably years later. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, James. Nice to hear that that's worked for you. So that's a really good one. We have the one mountain who's new here. Hey, you sound like an Aussie, dear. Yes, we are Aussie, and welcome. I don't think we've seen you here before. Love having new people here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if what we've been talking about resonates with you tonight. But yeah.
And save and share. Apparently YouTube loves that. Oh, and everyone, if you could leave some comments when the video goes live, we'd love you to death, because we're getting many more views now. I think it's because you guys are leaving comments when the video goes live, plus save. And yeah, it's just going to get you more YouTube lives, more content. We've got a whole bunch of footage from our boot camp we'll release if we get enough love on our YouTube channel, which will be insane for you guys who don't want to do a date with Tess or pay any money, because you're going to get so much for free. So yeah, when the video goes live, if you could just leave a comment or say that was great or ask a question, we'd love you and we'll do much, much more for you. Again, I've had probably 50, maybe 60 models I've hired as dating coaches. Tess and Natalia are probably two of the best. And yeah, so everything we teach you is basically filtered through these, whatever, 50 or 60 stupidly hot women, plus whatever success I had myself, plus me traveling for 7 years, and yeah, some of the most ridiculously insane with women guys you could ever meet. Plus I was probably one of the higher paid salesmen in Australia in my 20s as well, and public speakers. So yeah, it's really good stuff we're sharing with you, even though we're pretty crap at the YouTube. So yep, next question please.
Okay, Stevie's asking, will this help me stop settling for women I'm not truly attracted to?
Absolutely, that's what it's all designed for. Settling is sucking and getting the life sucked out of you, particularly for guys who have a bit of money or a bit going in their life or a bit good looking. You settle and then the woman just goes nuts on you 2, 5, 10 years later. I've had that. I didn't settle. I had a girl involved in my business I couldn't get rid of. And that was one of the worst things that happened to me in my adult life. You can't settle, you can't settle, you can't settle. Because women will realize at some point that you're just settling. They'll get older, they'll go further beyond their beauty peak. And many of them, even the nice ones, will get fucking nasty. Absolutely. These 11 points will help you not settle. Next one.
Okay. Question from Landon. Does this list actually work for men in their 50s and 60s? And Stevie's said yes immediately. Thank you for answering that for us, Stevie. But James, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, it's designed. It's specifically designed for guys, 40s, 50s, 60s. So yes, it works crazy. What I've tried to identify, if we look back through the points, we might do that before we sign off. It's designed because the reason younger women will date older men is because they want a guy with a bit of relationship experience. They want a guy with some experience with women. They want a guy who's been around the bush too much, but been around the block a few times. And one of the interesting things in today's world is a lot of the most desirable sort of 27, 30, 32, 33-year-old women I know, they seem to be actually choosing guys who've had long marriages and had kids. Maybe it's because naturally the good guys are going to have done that, but maybe it's because these guys have had relationships, have been through a nasty divorce, they've had good girls, they've had bad girls, they've got a lot more perspective on dating than some guys about 30. The other thing you guys who are 50 and 60 need to understand, I fell madly in love at 32, but I had a bit of money I made from finance. I was traveling the world nonstop. I broke the heart of the only woman I've ever truly loved. I'm really the only human being I've ever truly loved. Just because life's so good if you're a little bit of a desirable guy and you're in your 30s. So a lot of younger women have figured this out. I might get my dream guy when I'm 25 and he's 32, but he's just going to break my heart. And a lot of them have figured this out. So a lot of them naturally want much older men. They want the high status man, but they want a guy 20 years older than him because that's more of a chance of a long-term relationship. Every girl in South and Central America knows this. It's considered misogyny if you say it to some white girl in California or Sydney, but it's just obvious. They're not going to catch the alpha male when he's 35. They can watch all the romantic comedies they want, but it's probably not going to happen. Certainly not 30, but they might catch him when he's 50. Anyway, next point, unless you want to add something to that, Tess.
No, that was good, James. Okay, next one. This is an interesting question. So what's the biggest mistake successful men make with these secrets?
That's a great question. Let me just, I'll just go through them at 100 miles an hour. Sweep her off her feet with date planning, hug her, pass her tests, spotlight her strengths, do the sidewalk gentleman thing, get her talking, you do less talking, look the part. You've got to dress like a confident, sexually successful older man, which virtually no guy can. Touch her often, it's got to be skillful. Listen, just listen, and you're so far ahead of every other guy. Do all the gentleman manners thing, like let her go through doors first, and ask feelings and emotion, not facts and data questions. So the biggest mistake is not doing this shit, really. I can't think of anything else. Most guys do none of this. That they pay for expensive dates, they get all dressed up in silly clothes, and they just talk about themselves all night and don't listen. And they never touch her, and they just try to shove their tongue down her throat at the end of the second date and expect sex, then get pissed off when she puts them in the friend zone. And then they go on some forum and say, women only want to date billionaires with yachts and 8 Ferraris and 2 McLarens who are 6'4" and have big black penises and great abs. No, they want to date guys who have skill. So that would be the number one mistake. They don't do it. And that they think it's tall, rich, handsome. Tess, do you want to add to that? Can we get the question?
Yeah, what's the biggest mistake successful men make with these secrets? I think as well, guys, if you're trying to go at this on your own, we tell you to do date planning, we tell you to do touching, etc., and to dress well, all of these things. If you're trying to do that on your own, cool, but you're not getting the feedback. So if you really want to fast track this and you're a guy who's busy and you want to optimize this journey for yourself, book in a date with me and I can give you feedback straight away and we can hold your hand and lead you, and this is all going to happen so much quicker, and you're not going to be making all those mistakes and having to learn from those mistakes on your own. We can just tell you straight away. Excuse me. So yeah, that would kind of be biggest mistake is not doing it. Second biggest mistake is not optimizing how you do it. So yeah, that's what I think. And that kind of relates to the next question as well. James, is there anything else?
Just imagine if you saw a pretty girl next Thursday, and because you'd had a bit of training, you'd had a bit of practice at your questions and conversation, and you'd learned a bit about reading signals, you saw that she was actually a bit interested in you. She just glanced over at you briefly, just a flash, but you knew because you'd done some training. Then you'd practice going on a bunch of dates with Tess, maybe a bit further down the track, Natalia and Val. And then you walk over and you're not worried about running out of things to say. You're not worried about what to talk about. And straight away you meet her, she gives you an answer that's somewhat encouraging, and you skillfully touch her on the shoulders, but you do it properly. And this girl you'd never consider could be interested in you because you're 55, you're not in the best shape, you pretty much all grey. She's like really interested in you. Can you imagine if that's what your life is like? You never need to worry about running out of things to say. You're really good at starting a conversation, really good at leading a conversation. You know exactly what to take to sweep them off their feet. Can you imagine how much easier all that would be if that's you? This is all really, really simple. It's all really, really simple if you know what you're doing and you iron out a few mistakes. Sorry, Tess, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Sorry, I just I was just coughing.
Next question.
Next question. Yeah, from Virtual is, what should I do if she stops responding after I start using these? Yeah, so what I wanted to say was it might be because you're making mistakes that we have not, you haven't had feedback on, right? Or you're not able to read her signals. So you're trying to put into action what we're giving you here, but you're not doing it the right way, which is why taking our advice is one thing, but actually being led and guided and shown exactly how it works is another thing. So yeah, if she's not responding, it might be because you're not doing it right.
Thanks, Tess. The other thing, if she's not responding, that's going to happen. It's just part of the deal. When you do get good, you get a lot of girls who show interest in you, like a lot of interest, but they've got boyfriends. They just like the fun of romance and seduction. So what I did when I was promiscuous is I basically have a long list, like 30 girls I'd either slept with, I wanted to sleep with again, or have the opportunity to sleep with when I came back to their city, or girls I got their numbers or been on a date with and I didn't go any further. So I had a long list. I would just do something called pinging. I'd just send them a message, go, hey, blah, 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 blah. And when it was Valentine's Day or Christmas or anything like that, the ones I really wanted to try to remember their birthday, I just set like, I used to send like more than 30 Valentine's Day messages some year. Sometimes I cut and pasted the name and got it wrong and got some nasty replies back. But yeah, just message her every now and then and go, hey, I remember you were an architect. Yeah, I just saw this beautiful building, made me think of you. How's life for you, Deborah? So yeah, just hit her up every now and then. Don't expect much to come from it. But with modern technology, you can sort of stay in touch with a lot of girls. You don't need to put their name if you want to make a standard one. Just go, hey, just thinking of you, having breakfast this morning. What's up with you? Then you can just send that to 8 girls at once. That's certainly what I used to do. Next question.
Okay. Martin is asking, what about standing up for her when she goes to the bathroom? My uncle taught me that as a kid, in a cafe or restaurant.
Tess answer. That sounds good, but it could be a bit old school. What do you think, Tess?
Yeah, it's a bit much. Like, if you're at a venue and then she arrives and you stand up, obviously you want to greet her, that's cool. But standing up when she goes to the bathroom, I feel like in today's day and age, a woman might be like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you going to the bathroom too? Like, she'd just be confused because it never happens. So I would say, like, that's not showing attentiveness and care as much as the sidewalk thing that James was talking about. That's more just like a formality, which is, it's not about the formality. It's more about being the person who's like there for her safety and being attentive, right? So just for the sake of formality, like standing up is nowhere near as impactful.
Yeah, I mean, some friends of mine from traditional backgrounds say when someone new comes to the table, you always stand up for them. There's all these manners that the sort of English-speaking cultures are just ignored. Next question, we better race through them. We're going on a bit.
Yeah, can these secrets help me create emotional safety for high-quality women?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. These are going to show them you're a high-quality man. I'm not necessarily sure if they'll create emotional safety. You could get some girls thinking, oh, this guy's really smooth, he's going to cheat on me. So I'm not sure if they do that as well as they maybe should. The hug would definitely go a long way towards that. The actually getting to know her and asking good open-ended questions and listening would do that. Some of the other techniques probably aren't purposely designed for that. I think we're well past the 3-hour mark. So do you want to just fly through the next ones? Jump in if you think there's anything to add.
Yeah, no, that was good. That's exactly what I always said, James. So this one, how do I turn these things into a simple 30-day action plan?
Oh, great question. Well, we've reviewed it twice. I would just go through them and I'd pick your 5 favorites, starting at number 1, and I'd make a list of what you're actually going to fucking do. And I'd maybe put that up on the wall so that you're conscious of it. And I'd just try to actually implement these things. So, I mean, if we haven't coached you, then definitely start with open-ended questions and listening. Yeah, just start with open-ended questions and listening. For the people working with Tess, there's a few of you on here tonight. If you're working with Tess, you might want to say, when the video goes live, how awesome Tess is, how great a coach she is. That would mean the world to us, and it will get you much more awesome free content. So yeah, pick the top 5 things and just be conscious of implementing one at a time. Like, you could be paying for your groceries, or you could be just saying hello to the receptionist at the gym or something, and you can just ask open-ended questions and listen. So just go through the 11 things which you've reviewed a few times and just come up with what you actually want to do. If you don't have open-ended questions and listening as part of that list, you're probably doing yourself a disservice. And whatever Tess and I said when we talked about look the part, you might want to review that as well and just assess what in your wardrobe is good and what in your wardrobe is bad. Next question, Tess, unless you want to add something.
No, that was a really concise answer. So another one, how do I practice indifference to beauty without seeming cold?
Dude, we need to give this guy a prize for the best questions. That is difficult. You've just got to find out about what's special about the beauty. Like if you meet Tess and you find out fairly quickly through good open-ended questions and listening, it's amazing how much we talk about good open-ended questions and listening, and you find out she's a really serious surfer, or this hot girl, catwalk model, literally flies around like a bird, and then you just focus all your energy on that, not on her long, thin, lovely catwalk model legs or whatever, thick hair or lips or eyes or whatever you find attractive about Tess. If you just focus on her skills, her interests, her hobbies, her talents, rather than what essentially God gave her because she was born to the right mother and father. Anything you want to add to that, Tess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, indifference to beauty doesn't come across as cold at all. Like if you're engaging with what she's actually interested in and or like what she values in life, then that's really warm. So yeah, I think this is really easy. It's like just for the fact that you're being indifferent to her beauty doesn't mean that you're cold. You have to focus on connecting with her. That's going to be really warm. Okay. Next.
I've just reposted the link for the Joey guy. That was the last question.
Oh, okay, cool.
A really good summary of touch. It's not as good as a boot camp, but it's probably the next best thing.
There you go. James is on it. Another question from Martin. A friend told me an escort said the best Insta date was a pizza and movie at his house for a long time. It was the Netflix and chill. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to work up to that, guys. Like on a first date, like come to my place. Let's do Netflix and chill. Like everyone knows what Netflix and chill means, and yeah, you've got to get the woman comfortable to first come back to your place. So yeah, Insta date. Yeah, if you can get an instant date back to your place, that's a good sign. But it's unlikely that a woman would want to just watch a movie and chill unless she was like
an escort,
hungover and really tired, or an escort. Yeah, like usually women want a bit of excitement and or something, they want to actually get to know you, and she wants to decide whether she wants to sleep with you, and it's not going to happen over pizza and a movie.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of porn stars teaching sex. To me, they're the worst people to ever ask because they act like they're enjoying sex when they're not. Or like the whole pickup artist community, that to the extent those guys had any success, the leaders of the pickup artist community, their number one dream, like my number one dream with a woman is probably some girl at a St. Petersburg or Moscow bookstore, or like a Soho or Lower East Side bookstore. That's my dream, or some stupidly smart Latina girl. I got a half Japanese girl who was a model from a bookstore. That was like the absolute pinnacle of me for women. Whereas the absolute pinnacle of the people who founded this industry was a stripper. These guys that date like when they're like in their mid-20s, they date like 35-year-old strippers on their third boob job with some really unfortunate plastic surgery, and they thought they were superstars. I wouldn't have touched these girls with a barge pole. So you've got to be careful who you listen to information on. There's a guy who's really blown up in the men's dating space, and he likes stripper girls They've all got fake tits. They're all platinum blonde. They've all got nearly all their chest hanging out the whole time. To me, they just look tacky and awful. I'm not sexually attracted to them at all. But this guy loves them. So if you love those girls, maybe he's got some good shit to share with you. But if you like a more natural girl who's got a bit more to her than double D fake boobs, then you might want to listen to Tess and I. So you got to be careful where you get your information from. Equally, if your idea of a girl is not some beautiful agency model who's, potentially university educated, who doesn't smoke and drink too much, then yeah, if that's the complete opposite of your idea, you want some coke snorting, fucking plastic titted party girl, then yeah, I might not be the best guy to listen to. I'm still going to help you get them, but there might be other people. But if you want like what I personally would refer to as a quality woman, Tess is an example. She's a catwalk model who's got 2 degrees. She's a Chinese doctor. She paraglides. She surfs. She's always traveling and doing interesting shit. She's always learning, pottery or archery or painting. She's always doing something which, many guys would argue would make her a wonderful mother, which is probably what is the ultimate end game for most guys. Even though they don't want a family, that's sort of their archetype of woman. I'm really crapping on now. Let's get to the next question. Don't listen to escorts and strippers and dating advice from them in most cases, I don't think.
Okay, good answer, James. Okay, here's one, bit of a scenario. Welcome, Bakaz. Yep, haven't seen you here before. Welcome. So you're saying she left me, I'm 57, she's 40, friend zoned me, I walked out. I was there for her. The sex was good every other day. I did a lot for her. And at 40, she doesn't know what she wants. Her mother told me to break it off because of the age gap. So does age matter? Yes or no?
Yes, age matters. But if her mum wants her 40-year-old daughter to break up with a 57-year-old dude, unless you're just wretched or something, her mum's an idiot. It gets much, much harder for women really once they get out of their early 20s, and then once they get in their 30s, it's much harder. Once they get in their 40s, it's infinitely harder. And their best bet of a guy to take them seriously is a guy who's roughly 20 years older than them. So if a man, the average sort of slightly above average desirability guy probably reaches his sexual peak around 42 or 45. That's when he's the most attractive to women. So if she thinks she's going to get a 45-year-old when she's 40, she's smoking the fucking crack pipe. So I don't know what you're like. I don't know the way you treated her. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about her mum. But just on the basis of the information you've given me, her mum's a fool. If you treated her well, and you're having sex every day, which assumes there's legitimate attraction, I don't know what drugs the mum's smoking. Tess, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, also like a woman, a 40-year-old woman, this is a woman, she's not a child, who like breaks up with someone because her mum was like, break up with, I don't know, also like maybe there was something else. It's not just the age, because if she says, yeah, I'm breaking up with you because my mum told me to, it's kind of like, well, make up your own mind. You're a 40-year-old woman, and if you're saying everything else was really good, it's a bit weird that she's like reliant on her mum to make relationship decisions for her. So yeah, I would say maybe not just the age, because that, yeah, again, 40 to 57, it's still the same like chapter of life. So that's not a big age gap. Yeah.
We might just fly through these last ones. What a great, they call it a handle. I just learned that the other week. Omniscient Shogun. That's one of the best names ever. Pretty cool picture. Not a problem. You don't have to worry about this in South Korea. Everyone is in shape. Yeah, it's only us English-speaking people who are just disgusting fat slobs. Can you see the next one? Where is it? That was a good answer, James. Thank you for that. We're nearly there. Thank you, Hundi. More from Mr. The bar is so low in America. If you keep a full-time job, keep your body in shape, you're in the top 20%. That's pretty much true. Yeah. Australia's obesity is not far behind the US. So yeah. But again, if a guy's a little bit overweight, that's nowhere near as big a deal as most guys think it is. And some women prefer a guy who's definitely not in shape. I think we've already done that one. I think we might be. Where's it gone?
Yeah, I think this is it, James. We've
Awesome,
answered all
John,
the questions.
please. Yeah, he's a bit of a legend, that dude. I can't believe is he knighted, Sir John Cleese? I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Queen if he's not. That was the hottest story I've ever heard. Very funny. Thanks, guys. What was the name of the video? I've answered that. I've put the video in for you. This is huge, James. Thank you so much, Tom. Well, this is our longest one ever. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't punish us. Yeah, we might sign off really quickly so we don't extend favor. Thanks for the support. If you do get stuff out of this, please, whatever, like, subscribe. If you could save it and send it to anyone, that'll make a huge difference. Possibly the best thing you can do to support us is as soon as the video goes live, which is 15 minutes or something, just ask one of the questions you've already asked, or just leave a comment. Tess and James are great, or got so much out of that. That would mean the world to us, because YouTube basically just comments seems to be the #1 metric that it drives the video, much more so than even how long you guys watch, which kind of astounds me. So anyway, thank you to my lovely partner in crime, Tess, for being so awesome. There's 3 of you who are booked in with her tomorrow by the looks of it. So yeah, can't wait to see you and turn your guys around. And yeah, if anyone wants to do it, who's watching the replay, you'll see a link in the chat. And yeah, keep smiling, and bye for now.
See you guys. See you next time. Bye.